Hey, you guys, what's going on? Okay.
We're going to go out tonight, so we don't know how long the stream's going to last.
Well, it's only 5 o'clock. I mean, we have a lot of time. And honestly, if we have to, I can just, like, cake more makeup on over this makeup and just change clothes. So I'm not super worried about it.
We're just going to go simple anyway, man.
Yeah, I'm not super
Don't
worried.
get all dolled up that much. Because, you know the deal. All right. So, let's see who we got in there.
Yeah, we got lots of people. David June says BTK better make an appearance this episode.
We'll see.
I just moved him. I still haven't figured that out. That moving one way or the other, it's always opposite. He's like right back there. Him and HH are both HH Holmes are back there on the thing.
Trying to get in the camera.
All right. Yeah, just
all right.
He's moving around.
Yeah. Yeah, BTK shows up when you know if he's deciding to astrally project from his cell, sometimes he'll fucking whoosh, come in like that.
It's red already.
Yeah. Damn, it's getting red.
Really? Seriously?
The stream's fucked up.
Come on. Okay.
Should I go down there and reset the router?
No. Just
if it
don't
does
do
it again, we'll reset the router. It's the beginning of the damn show.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean. Yeah, when you said like when Dennis chooses to astrally project from his
then sometimes
cell,
sometimes I will fucking allow him to take over slightly.
That bitch is still alive, right?
Yeah.
I hadn't heard that he died.
Yeah.
But I haven't been keeping up with all the serial killer
Maniac
news.
was asking where Seagal was. Seagal is actually fucking leading one of the wings of the fucking the Russian fucking mission into Ukraine. He led the amphibious assault.
Because he can float because of all the fat.
They got him up in the front. Fucking he's
just floating.
Yeah, he's
like a dirigible, but in the water.
He didn't even speak Russian. He just goes, "This is what I want you guys to do."
Well, he just wants everyone to speak Steven Seagal.
I want you guys to put on a good show when you're out there, and when you aim true. When you raise up the rifle, make sure to put the rifle on your shoulder and pull the trigger. Pull the trigger with your finger. Don't pull. Don't
pull it with your dick.
Yeah. Pull it with your finger. See, that's his useful. And he goes, the only thing I can tell you guys are well trained. You know what you have to do. My advice is you have to go up and down stairs. Just ask for your stunt double. Yeah. He thinks every one of them fucking Russian soldiers has a stunt double.
I wish I had a stunt double.
Yeah.
How cool would that be? Mm-hmm. It's like, hey, can you just go get my towels out of the dryer? Thanks. I don't feel like walking down the stairs.
I've had an enjoyable time watching all the fucking generals and the talking heads on fucking all the news channels. They get these loser ass generals like General Keane. He was on CNN and Fox News. I watched that dude lie his way through like 3 or 4 wars during the time. Starting back in the early 90s. And he just fucking... I don't have a big respect for the general staff officers in general. If they're on TV, they're liars. That's why they're on TV. They're shills for the fucking contractors that make all this money off the Pentagon. So all they do is just go, they shouldn't have done it. We're gonna, we're gonna take care of this real quick. They bit off more than they could chew. And it's just kind of these stock answers. We need to spend more money. If they had bought the new money, then the new money would make the new missiles, and then we would have no problem. But they don't listen to us. That's just that same shit over and over again. I just find it hilarious, and most of their predictions don't turn out. And just although Keane's gotten good at saying something without saying anything, to make it sound like he told you something when in fact he avoided fucking telling you something that could be used against him later. It's just more shillery. Shilling, making money.
Oracle says, I have some scary news to share. This Monday, my husband had to rush me to the ER for symptoms that included me bleeding so badly there was blood on the floor. Holy fucking shit. I mean, hopefully you're okay. I guess you're okay enough because you're here now. Luckily, I went home after a couple hours, but I'm going in for some surgery week after next. Ugh. That sucks.
Damn.
I mean, I hope you're okay.
I ain't gonna make any jokes. I don't know where you were bleeding from.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, don't joke about that.
Yeah,
Shit's not funny.
That
shit's not funny. Yes, they put me on some huge drugs to deal with the symptoms. Well, that might be a plus.
Right.
If they're the good drugs.
Right.
So yeah, we're all thinking about you out there,
Yeah.
Oracle. Hopefully it goes okay. But yeah, we have somebody in the comments called Black Steven Seagal. It looks. I think it's Murder Hornets. It looks like the same avatar.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. It's good to know that the Seagulls come in all colors.
I just totally pictured like a collector's set of a whole bunch of Steven Seagal action figures, like in every color of the rainbow.
Well, he does come in all colors. He does every fucking voice. He speaks in fucking Chinese and Japanese accents. Fucking Ebonics.
Maybe
Italian.
that's why he thinks he doesn't have to learn any languages. He's like, look, if I just talk in the
speak all these languages.
English, but like in the accent, then they'll understand what I'm saying.
If you ask me, because no, I speak 7 languages.
Yeah, like he'll go to Italy and be like, that's a spicy meatball. Like in English. Yeah.
That's a sign of a fucking...
And expect them to know what he said.
It's a sign of a fucking pathological liar, man. Just... I tell you what, I've been in Italy 7 years now. This is a great meatball. Yeah. I need to speak to Don. I need to speak to Don Corleone. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I will tell you one thing,
Luca
though.
Brasi. Call Luca.
I thought he was sleeping with the fishes.
No, before he died.
Okay. Yeah, you can't call him anymore.
No.
But, you know what, though? One thing that I learned fairly recently that actually kind of, I don't know if it, like, blew my mind, but it blew my mind a little bit. It was like that. That Chef Boyardee, which, I loved as a kid. Actually, I'll still eat it nowadays. I'm not proud. But that was based on a real dude.
Yeah,
and that was his real name. That's not how you spell it.
No,
it's Boyardee, but it's spelled like an Italian way. But they said, well, we need to like Americanize it up a little bit because no one will know how to pronounce that.
Yeah.
But I was just kind of like, I thought that was like some fucking Aunt Jemima or Little Debbie or somebody, or Betty Crocker, or like a person that didn't exist. They're like, no, that was a real person, and the guy that's on the can, that was him.
Yeah.
I saw like a video about it not too long ago.
He was like the Gordon Ramsay of the early 1900s.
He was like he was shit hot at the making the fucking stuff.
He was cooking for kings and cooking in huge hotels for giant, for big fucking basically like Bilderberg groups with all the damn billionaires showing up. He had a good menu, He was cooking. Nowadays, you wouldn't be impressed, but back then, it would be considered like a.
Well, I mean, it was
impressive.
easier to impress people back then with food.
Well, they weren't used to fucking.
It's like, well, it's not full of maggots, so win.
They weren't used to like varied diets and having things from all over the world.
It's like what it has, like salt and pepper on it. Wow, that's really something.
Well, he was showing Italian food before that was even a thing.
Well, yeah,
in the U.S.
And to be honest with you, I'm going to defend. I haven't had it in a few years, but just like a couple years back, something like 2015 or something, I actually have got some of those little cups of like Chef Boyardee stuff, like for lunch if I didn't have anything to eat, like at work. Yeah, or from 7-Eleven or whatever, and those are like actually still pretty decent.
Yeah,
I mean it's not gourmet food or anything like that, but I mean they're still like, it's not gross.
They were a lot better than they were.
Yeah, and actually a lot of stuff, because I'm gonna say like Chef Boyardee, I loved that shit as a kid because my grandma always had it in the the cupboard for the kids to eat for lunch because all of us stayed over there in the summer, and the spaghetti and meatballs and the like double stuffed ravioli or like the big ravioli were like my favorite ones. I wasn't a big fan of the beefaroni, but that was okay too. I would do in a pinch, but I mean there was nothing wrong with them then, but. It's a lot better than Franco-American, that's for sure, because that was like some watery bullshit right there. Yeah. I never liked SpaghettiOs.
Yeah.
But
there's a lot of stuff about Seagal in there.
He's always such a he you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if he contacted me at some point and wanted like royalties because we talk about him all the time. And he's just kind of like, you guys are using my name like to make money, and I want a piece of that pie. I'm like, yeah, here's $1. That's probably about how much it's. Of all the videos we produced over the years, like the percentage of time that we've talked about him and like the money that we've made from that, it's probably like about $1 or so. Maybe not even that much.
Yeah. Sticks asks, does Black Seagal also run like a bitch? The answer is yes. All the Seagals run like a bitch. I
kind of feel like they all do. Because if there was a Seagal that didn't run like a bitch, and didn't have a stunt double that walked upstairs and stuff like that, then it wouldn't be a Seagal. It would be a cool person. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, somebody out there. I mean, you couldn't call it Steven Seagal. You'd have to call it like, I don't know, even Samal or something like that. But it's like you could make like this whole collector's thing that's obviously him, but you can't use his name. But it has to look. What's the rules on that? Because I know that you can't. You know, if you're a celebrity, you can't just, like, make an action figure of any motherfucker you want, because you do have to, like, pay licensing fees for their image. But I'm like, well, how different does an action figure have to look to let you, like, slide on that? I wonder if anybody's, like, that's entertainment lawyer or a copyright lawyer or anything like that, because I'm always kind of curious about copyright laws. You know what I mean? Let's see. Little ball of fur says, where was I? Let's see. Wait a minute. Oh my god, I missed like a whole fucking conversation because we were like we were so obsessed with that fucking. Yeah, Seagal is racially ambiguous after all. And
he's not really ambiguous. Steven Seagal instantly transforms into whatever race he's speaking to at the moment.
It's his superpower.
If you show up black, he becomes black. If you show up Chinese, he becomes Chinese. Actually, if you just start talking about the Chinese, he becomes Chinese. He does all kinds of crazy shit. and I'm not making it up. I got it on video to prove it. They've made whole fucking YouTube videos.
I love the running compilations.
Every one of his damn accents and the context.
If I'm ever in a bad mood one day, I could just watch one of the running compilations that many people have done on YouTube, and it's like, that'll cheer me right up.
Yeah. If he's talking to a black person, he immediately goes into fake ebonics. And you're not supposed to notice. Or it's supposed to make him cool. I don't know what it is.
I've never understood that at all. It's like, why would you want to talk like the other person? That's creepy.
That's like some shit Scientologists would do.
And that's exactly what I was thinking, because that's something that the Scientologists...
They tell you to do that.
It's all about that tone scale thing, and you're supposed to like approach people the same way that they're approaching you. Like, not so much talk like they talk, but you're supposed to kind of like mirror them a little bit. Because I guess, and I don't know, like, this is a long ago study, so I don't know if this has been backed up lately or not, but there was a thing that people tend to like people better who are more like them. So the thinking behind it is, if you meet somebody new and you want to like recruit them, then you're supposed to come at them like with the same kind of energy so, and that's supposed to make them like you better.
It doesn't work though.
No, I don't think it does.
I've seen people do that to me, and it comes off like a sales tactic.
Well, it comes off, and like I said, I had people do that when I worked with them in Clearwater, and it just comes off as super creepy. I'm like, are you guys like serial killers or what the fuck? It comes off like really, really off-putting. I think
because they're not being themselves.
Yeah, and you can tell that they're not being themselves.
It's like you showed up to like. They're kind of like one of the face girls from fucking Disney. They come off like that. If you guys ever know anything about Walt Disney culture, because there's just so many Disney employees around here, there's fur and face. And the people that dress up in the damn fur costumes, you never see their faces. The girls and the guys that play humans in the cartoons, they call them face, or face actors, or face performers. And they have to look like that person. There's a little thing that they go through and everything. And when they're out in the park, they are being that role, and you can interact with them, but it's very artificial, very fake.
Yeah, because they're coming across like, I'm Ariel, I'm a real mermaid. They have to act like the character.
Yeah, just like that little character. And when somebody matches you that does that, it comes across kind of like that, kind of like somebody off the Disney theme park.
And I mean, at least at Disney, you know that they're doing that. Right. I mean, they're doing it for the sake of the little kids mostly, because they don't want to like break the illusion that this is like the actual character. So I get that, but you know, you're paying for that experience. But I'm not paying for like some weirdos to like come up and try to pretend to be me while they're talking to me.
Part of it could be that
that's just going to make me want to hit you.
People that are doing it are Scientologists, and Scientologists are not particularly talented or really all that intelligent. They think they are, but they're not.
Well, that's what's so funny. I think that's what kind of pissed me off the most about them. Well, and like I said, I worked for them. I only worked there for 8 months, and I couldn't take it anymore. At first, I just kind of thought it was funny, because I'm just like, okay, what if you do you, whatever. But after a while, I just kind of got sick of it. But one of the things that pissed me off about them the most was that they thought they were super, super smart, like smarter than everybody else and like way more superior, and they clearly were not. Yeah. They were kind of idiots.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of like, that is like my least favorite kind of person.
They're like LARPers. they're LARPing.
I'm like, if it's, and I'm not judging, like if people are a dummy or something like that, I don't care about that as long as you are aware enough to know that, you know, that you're a dummy or whatever. Yeah. But these people that think that they're way smarter than everyone, but they're really not. Yeah. And they're just like, and actually are kind of idiots. Those people just like really, really get on my nerves. The Dunning-Kruger motherfuckers.
The best one is Marty Rathbun, and he got kicked out. And he's still a Scientologist. He still believes that shit. But he's probably the best one.
I mean, at least he's somewhat normal.
Yeah.
He seems like a mostly normal person.
Tom Cruise is also probably one of the better ones.
Even though he's kind of weird too, I gotta say.
Yeah,
but you know.
But that's like one of the better ones.
Yeah. Well, like I said, he didn't get the whole experience. We've talked about that before. Yeah. He didn't get the same experience that like your Scientologist on the ground would get. So he doesn't have that weird. And like I said, the creepiest ones are the ones that were raised in it, that are like second and third generation. Because I worked with a bunch of those, and they were like 16, 17 years old, and their parents were Scientologists, so they didn't know any different. They had just grown up in this bubble. So their interactions with regular people were very off-putting. Yeah. I found them very off-putting. And it's something when you're in your 20s or 30s, and you have some 15-year-old kid thinking they're like some superior alien race or something, like talking to you, and you're just like, you're kind of stupid, aren't you? But, it's they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. DJ Maniac says, I see you guys just reviewed Demon Knight. Yes, we did. I just watched Bordello of Blood this past week. Yeah, I think Shudder added both of them, as well as, like, Tales from the Hood and stuff. Honestly, I don't mind Bordello of Blood. I think I mentioned it on the Demon Knight review, but it's like, Dennis Miller's kind of annoying in it, but, I mean, he's kind of annoying in general. But, and he's even more annoying now than he used to be back then. But, I mean, I don't mind Bordello of Blood, but I think Demon Knight is a better movie. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Double stuffed ravioli. That's where it's at, man. And honestly, like I said, I got it a few years back just because I was at work and I forgot to bring my lunch that day. And I think it was ravioli. It was pretty damn good. The pasta's a little mushy, but I don't mind that. What are you gonna do? It's out of a can, so. Only Tom Cruise can be Tom Cruise crazy. Yeah, he's kind of in his own. He's kind of in his own category, I guess. Cheryl says I rewatched The Filth and the Fury. It's great. I know. You know what? I meant to rewatch it for the show. I watched a bunch of other ones because I was kind of trying to focus more on. In the limited time I had, I was trying to focus more on the murder and kind of the aftermath and like Sid's death and everything. So I watched a lot of ones about that. Like I watched like Who Killed Nancy and like The Last 24 about Sid Vicious, like, your last 24 hours. And that was like a British one and stuff like that. But I actually wouldn't mind rewatching Filth and the Fury at some point. Bordello of Blood was filmed in my hometown, Surrey, British Columbia. All right. Yeah, that was right before Miller went full asshole. You never go full asshole. And like I said, I think he was less annoying in the 90s just because it was a kind of a newer shtick back then and nobody else was really doing that. But a little bit of it went a long way, And I have to say, I was super into, this is weird, but I was super into stand-up comedy in the 90s. Like late 80s, early 90s. So I knew like all the comedians and I didn't really get to see any of them live. The only comedian I ever got to see live was Gallagher. And I didn't even do that on purpose because somebody where I worked had tickets for it and they couldn't use them. And they're like, hey, you want to go see Gallagher for free? And I was just kind of like, I guess, why not? Because I'd seen his specials and stuff. But I have to say, because Gallagher, in case you guys don't know, he's the one that like smashed all the food at the end. And even though I was up in the balcony, I didn't anticipate how much that place would stink from all of the food that he smashed. And it was so bad that even up in the balcony of like a large theater, it was making me gag. Like the smell was making me gag. And I had to like leave and like go sit in the bathroom. No, but I mean, it was the thing is he smashes like all these different kinds of food and it's all like a bunch of different kinds.
Yeah.
So like the combination of all of it just like made this horrible stench.
I tried to watch one of his shows. It was on television one time. I just couldn't get through it. I just wasn't funny.
It's like
just not funny.
There was a couple that were kind of funny, like back in the '80s, but
he's just not funny.
It's not, yeah. Like nowadays, it's not really funny.
I'm just seeing, and people are laughing like this shit's hilarious, and I'm like, what is funny?
I mean, everybody's sense of humor is different. I get that, and we've talked about this before, but comedy usually doesn't age well.
Yeah.
I tended to like, honestly, and even now, like if I like a comedian, I tend to like ones that don't tell jokes. I tend to like ones that just tell stories that are like funny stories. You know what I mean? That's why I like Eddie Izzard and stuff like that. And he does a lot of improv, and he just kind of talks about funny situations that kind of, get more and more absurd. And that's funny. Back in the 90s, I liked Jake Johansson a lot. I don't know what happened to him. He was hilarious, but he was kind of another thing where he would talk about like just situations that were funny rather than like telling jokes with a punchline. I mean, there's an art to that too, but to me, that's funnier. Like, just more observational kind of shit. Which is funny because for whatever reason, I was bored the other day and I just needed to kill some time. So I pulled this book out, and I've read this like a million times, but I was like reading it again. But this book here, which is called Me Talk Pretty One Day by David Sedaris. And I pulled it out. It's like funny essays where he like talks about his life, and this book is one of the fucking funniest things I've ever read, and it still is. I haven't read it for a few years, but I was rereading it like the other day. I'm like, yep, still fucking hilarious. Especially the shit where he moves to France because his boyfriend has a house in Normandy, so he goes over there, and I'm at the section now where he's trying to learn to speak French because he's living over there. So he takes this class and just like, oh my god, it's like so fucking funny. All the stuff about him being in France is hilarious. And Oracle said Patton Oswalt is funny in that way too. Yeah, I always found him like really funny also. Tammy said I was lucky and got to see Eddie Izzard 3 times. Oh, you suck. I always wanted to see him. I did. But I don't know if I'm ever going to get to. But he's honestly nowadays... And I don't even know if he still does stand up, right? I kind of feel like he was doing more acting, and he runs marathons and does shit like that nowadays too. But I always wanted to see him, and I just never even got to. I never got to, but he's like super funny.
Oh shit! Tila just showed up.
Oh shit!
Tila, you gonna make me put my eye patch back on? I'm gonna put my eye patch on. I know what that does to that woman.
Do you?
I know what that does to that woman. Okay. Here we go. Tobacco.
Danny Rolling says, I just got my cat for her first birthday. A remote control rat car. Okay. So it's a remote control car that looks like a rat? Oh, for cats from Amazon for $20, and she loves it. I wonder if Pookie would like that. We'd probably have to just do it in the bathrooms, though, because I don't think it would go over the carpet, would it?
I hear y'all in there baiting me to say something about damn fucking Russia and shit. I don't respond to vague fucking comments. I can only respond to direct questions because most of y'all don't know anything what you're talking about. You don't have any military experience, so, and you're just seeing things on television and responding to them based on the way that they want you to respond to it. Almost everything is propaganda. But I don't care really what anybody, and Putin doesn't care what you think about him. He's going to do what he wants to do, what he thinks is best for his country. That's really what it all boils down to. He saw a weakness, and people kept pissing him off, so he handled his business. And just like what me and Gramthars were saying before, there will be no response. There's no way to respond to this. If there was a way to respond, he wouldn't have done it. You're not dealing with Iraq, all right? This is fucking Russia. They think this shit out 50 moves down the fucking way. They know every possible response that we have, and they have a countermeasure for that. They don't give a fuck about those sanctions. They're going to use those sanctions to make themselves stronger. The intent is to make Russia a dominant superpower on the planet. You got a real good chance of it. Very good. Success breeds success. When you punk out superpowers, you take their success away. It's not a science, it's a game. So, and it's a game the West is going to lose eventually.
Senor Stick says, will Tom and Jenny ever see Kiss in concert?
I wouldn't see them, no.
I mean, I have limited money, and that's definitely not even in my top 100. Probably not even in my top 1,000, to be honest with you. Oscar says, A Confederacy of Dunces is the funniest book ever written. Yeah, it's up there. That is a pretty hilarious book. It's been a while since I've read it, but yeah, I remember it being super funny. You know what? Honestly, one of the funniest things I ever read was Oscar Wilde's The Importance of Being Earnest, like the play. I remember reading that when I was maybe in my late teens or early 20s and just laughing my ass off. I thought that was like one of the funniest things I ever read. I don't know if I would still think it was funny now. It might hit me different now, but I remember thinking that was like fucking hilarious, like the first time I read it. Yeah, so we're talking about the RC car. It works good on carpet, big off-road tires. Oh, okay. So I guess they did like think about that. I have thought about getting her... I didn't get her a lot of like mechanical toys. She does have this one thing that's like a ball, and you turn on the thing and it has a battery in it, and it has like a little thing that sticks out the top, and it's got like a little tail deal on it, and it spins around. And mostly she just kind of like looks at it, and then she reaches up and grabs the tail, and then it stops, and then she's just like, okay, I'm bored. So there's that. I got her one of those things that's like, it's like 4 layers, and it's got like what are they? They're like little tunnel things, and they have balls in them. And so she can like go in there and like hit the stuff with the little different color balls. But the weird thing about that is that she won't play with it if you're looking at her. She only plays with it if you're in the other room. And then like you peek around the corner and she's playing with it, and then she looks up like she's not supposed to be playing with it, like she's in trouble. I'm not entirely sure why she thinks that with that one toy. I don't know if she thinks it's like not hers. I gave it to her for Christmas. But she acts like... Because I hear her playing with it in the middle of the night because it makes a pretty distinctive noise. And then I go in there and I peek around the corner. I'm like, you playing with the toy? And she's like, I wasn't playing with it. And she acts like, I don't know, it's like the weirdest thing ever. She still looks so strange. So strange.
No, Bee's Nest is laughing and says that I didn't think that they would invade. Now, Gramthars is my witness. We talked about it right here on the show before it happened. That if an invasion took place, that there would be no response. They'd get away with it. I knew that they'd do something, but man, I was impressed. That mission was a great mission. Attacked from 3 different sides. One of them was an amphibious landing. That was fucking pretty complicated. That was better than fucking what we did when we went into Kuwait, or liberation of Kuwait, about like that. But everybody's all upset because of the propaganda, like it's an invasion and they're going to occupy, and I don't think they will. I don't think they can. I think they're in there to look at some bioweapons facilities that are there, get some evidence, and then they'll probably pull out. I don't think they'll be there longer than a couple months. They don't want to be in Ukraine. They want Ukraine to be vacant as a buffer zone, because if they occupy it, then all of a sudden NATO has missiles on its borders. They just want to. They said they wanted to denazify Ukraine and to get some of the corruption that was out of there, and they were fucking making biological weapons on their border in 7 different facilities. Just that they won't tell you that because we were financing it. All right? We were doing bad shit in there. You're going to find out about it. There's this knee-jerk reaction that we're the good guys. We're not the good guys. We haven't been the good guys in a long time.
Tila says, what's the best book that needs to be made into a movie ASAP? So fucking many that I can't really... Honestly, I just read one yesterday, and I reviewed it. It's not going up for a couple weeks, like the review, but I'm not entirely sure why it was never made. It actually was optioned, but I don't think they ever made it. And this is author... Graham Joyce, his name is. He was a British author. He died back in 2014. And he wrote a shit ton of books, and they optioned a lot of them for movies, but so far they haven't made any of them yet. But the one that I read, which was called The Tooth Fairy, I was kind of like, I don't understand why they wouldn't make this into a fucking movie. It would be really, really good, I think. I mean, they did make a movie called The Tooth Fairy in 2006, but it wasn't anything to do with the book. It was completely different. DJ Maniac says, coming this summer, The Importance of Being Ernest P. Worrell, starring John Cena as Jim Varney. Yeah, that was good. Who would Tom and Jenny see live in concert that they have not, who is still alive, says Senor Sticks. I still want to see Nick Cave because I never got to. So that's a bummer. I would have said The Fall, but Marky Smith died a few years ago, so I can't see them anymore. They never came to Florida, I don't think. The closest they ever came was Atlanta, and I couldn't afford to go, and that was like many years ago. But yeah, Nick Cave. Honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing Duran Duran, although I wish that I had seen them back in the 80s. Or 90s. That'd be fine too. I mean, they still look good and they still sound good and stuff. They're not that old, but I kind of wish I'd seen them back in the day.
Yeah, I've never seen Duran Duran.
No, I haven't either. I've seen most of the other bands I'm into. You know,
they're kind of chilled out though now. You know what I mean? They're older than they were.
Well, aren't we all?
Yeah.
That's what I mean. But they still look pretty good though.
Yeah.
I think for their
Well, they weren't
ages.
pounding themselves into the ground like Billy Idol. Even though Billy Idol he kept it together for a long time.
He did, yeah. I'm actually shocked with all the shit he went through, like that he still looks as good as he does.
Yeah. Not all natural, but
well,
I don't think that's his hair. I think that's a fucking wig. But I'd be the same way.
You do what you got to do.
You know, I'd be the same way
when you're famous.
Yeah, when you're famous. But he came out with a new album, and there's he's got a song on there called "Bitter Taste." It's fucking badass. It's like as good as Chris Isaak's. Kind of reminds me of a Chris Isaac song. What was that? Perfect
Wicked
Game.
Wicked Game.
What's it called?
Wicked Game.
Yeah, it reminds me of that kind of. It's good, real good. I liked it. He picked a more kind of mature theme. You know what I mean? Kind of like an age-appropriate sound.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You really kind of do have to go more in that direction when you get older, because it's like you can't be out there. I mean,
talking about snorting fucking coke.
I mean, you can.
Snorting coke off of people's asses and shit back in the 80s.
Everyone's just going to be like... you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Camp Guy says 1984, Brave New World would be good movies to make or remake. Honestly, I don't think I mean, there was a good adaptation of 1984 with John Hurt, but I don't think... I mean, I know they've done an adaptation of Brave New World, but I don't remember if it was any good or not. I do kind of feel like maybe... That seems like... I'm surprised that a version of that hasn't been done more recently. Unless it has, and I just didn't hear about it. That's the thing, there's so many streaming services, and there's so many, like, independent filmmakers, and there's so many things, so... I mean, it's very possible that somebody could have made, an adaptation of something that I totally didn't even know about. Because I've had that happen where I've read a book by, like, a horror author, and I was just kind of like, oh, man, this is cool. Like, why didn't I ever hear about this author before? And then I find out that, like, 2 or 3 of their books have already been made into movies. It's just that they weren't real big or I didn't hear about them. So that does happen.
Gramthars asked me when is the tiger dragon going to invade America and Mexico. Okay. You guys don't know what he's talking about. Well, I called it tiger dragon. There's now a Chinese-Russian alliance, and it has to do with currency, because the currency markets are fucking real. People think that money's worth something. Money's not worth anything if you don't have guns to back it up with. U.S. dollar was the world reserve currency for really only one reason. We have a badass Navy that was ensuring the oil shipments. As soon as America is not the premier Navy or not the premier military in the world, this currency will collapse. And they know that. The billionaires involved in it don't care. They'll move to another currency because they have hard assets. So Russia knew that it's going to get cut out of the European banking cartel system. Who gives a fuck? Cryptocurrency is going to be the future. That's why they're trying to stop it. If cryptocurrency was no threat to them, they wouldn't be trying to regulate crypto. There's only two sources of power. The power to spin narrative and the power to print currency. When you lose that power, you're gone. And the old dinosaur fucking apparatus that's been running the show for the past 200, 300, 400 years is on its way out. It's technologically obsolete. So they know they're going to lose their power. They have to ensure the power of their fucking children and their grandchildren. So they're trying to usher in the last gasp, which is a social credit score. If you have that, you can force people to use the currency, and you can force people to use the news media that they want you to use to maintain power. That shit's going. They know it's going to fall apart. China and Russia are starting to team up, and some people are calling it the Tiger Dragon. Okay? The Tiger Dragon will win because it's new money. They don't have these old oligarch families they have to watch out for. The corruption isn't as deep into them. They can make decisions on a dime. They can take a risk and go into things like cryptocurrencies. And it will work. Those two together, they'd get that to work. They will kick the West's ass. What's happened to the West is we've had some successes in the Second World War and fucking kicked back and got fat and fucking lazy and got permissive and soft. All right? The Russians are white people, but they're ghetto. All right? And they're hungry. And their leadership has 140 IQ leadership, and they're military backed. Our fucking leaders are pussies, all right? They're soft, rich boys, rich kids, fake fucking people who just won elections. They're not specialists in any of this. Russia and China are weaponized. Their command structure is military, and they're about winning. They don't care about what's right or wrong. It's just winning, and that always wins if you look at history. So our system's going to crumble, but it'll be replaced with something like theirs, but more Western. It's just we're in a time of transition. But Tiger Dragon, when will Tiger Dragon invade? They won't, because if you look, Russia does not need land. It's got a shit ton of it. And same with China. The last thing that they would ever want to do is to act like stupid ass Americans and try to get involved in any foreign affairs and take land and expand. They don't need to. They're just going to perfect what they have. Now, some Chinese generals in the past said some crazy shit that they would release pandemics and plagues to wipe out everything on the North and South American continent so they could come in and fucking populate it. See, the Chinese version of history is that North America belongs to them. They said that they were here first. And there is some evidence that that might have been true. There's a bunch of anchors off the coast of damn California that look to be coming from the Middle Ages, like, maybe around year fucking 1200, 1300. There may have been Chinese here long ago. They had a real badass steam-powered navy long back in the 1400s or 1400s, so they could have been here. They see this as their land, all right, at least nationalist Chinese in the CCP back in Beijing. And they had no problem about wiping out people and taking land. That's what they do. They don't have any moral problems with killing enemies. You're supposed to kill enemies. You're not supposed to make friends with them. If you make friends with an enemy, then how's it an enemy? It's not an enemy. We're trapped up in a Western bubble. Other people don't think that way. We just don't. So, but no, they wouldn't come here. It would be a waste of time. Those are big countries. They don't need land. I answered his question.
Tila says Jenny's face right now. Yeah, well,
Jenny's not interested in any of this.
Well, no, it's not that. It's just that I like to, the Friday night shows are supposed to be fun, and I try to keep things fun, right. And then I'm also trying to, answer questions, and then I get way, way behind, so it's that. I'm just trying to keep everything fun. A lot of people come here to like avoid that kind of shit.
Okay.
Which I also do. So, you know what I mean. Oscar says, Jenny, you guys have to see The Cursed, great new werewolf movie that hit theaters. I've heard a lot of good about that. So, God, we still have that fucking AMC Stubbs thing, but we haven't been to the movies.
Well, we gotta see the new Batman.
Months and months.
I think the new Batman came out today.
Did it? I thought it wasn't coming out till March. Or like early March.
I thought the dude said it came out today.
Maybe it did. I can't remember. I thought that it was like next week.
Okay.
Like for like the first Friday in March, but I could be wrong about that. I don't really remember.
The guy I subscribed to posted something yesterday. He said it was coming out this Friday.
Maybe, yeah, but maybe he meant like next Friday.
Okay.
Like not today Friday, because today's Friday.
Yeah.
Maybe it's
well, it was yesterday. He said Friday.
Oh, okay. Maybe it did. I don't know. Like I said, I thought somebody said like early March, but I don't even remember. Let's see.
Tom, they're saying Batman's next week. Okay. He must have his times wrong.
Oh, okay. See, I was right. Okay. We need more werewolf movies. Yeah, I mean, well, we need more good ones. Holy shit, you guys. I was watching... I got on a Riff-Tracks tear last night, and they have a lot of them actually on Amazon Prime that you can watch for free. And they had this one called, speaking of werewolves, called Lichen Colony. Now, this movie, I mean, you think you've seen some bad movies. You think you've seen, you've seen Birdemic. You've seen that kind of stuff. This movie, I think, was several steps down from that. It honestly looked like clearly they shot it with some piece of shit camera or a piece of shit phone. They didn't have any microphone. They were just using whatever microphone their shitty phone had, because you couldn't hear anything that anybody was saying because it was super tinny. And the shots were just kind of like, I mean, I can't even explain to you like how bad it was, but holy crap, it was so entertaining. And I think I fell asleep at some point, so I don't even know what the fuck was going on in it. But they couldn't even have... When somebody got attacked by a werewolf, somebody would get attacked by a werewolf, and it was just like they'd kind of like push them, and then they would put like in... I'm presuming in After Effects or whatever program they were using, they would put like a cartoon blood spray. And that was supposed to be... I think it was made in like the 90s. Oscar says Dog Soldiers is a masterpiece. Yeah, I really, really like Dog Soldiers. That's honestly like one of my favorite werewolf movies. Cheryl says so bad it's good. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because it was on Riff-Tracks, but in another way, I'm just kind of like, the people that made this movie, and I feel like it was kind of like a family type of thing, because a lot of the people that were in the movie and on the crew like had the same last name, so I'm assuming that it was like a family and their friends, which, that's cool. I'm not shitting on people that want to make movies, and maybe they're not all that talented at it, but whatever. But I mean, some of the stuff in this was just so basic that you would think that anybody, especially now, and like I said, maybe this came out years ago. I kind of feel like it was maybe mid to late 90s. But I think even back then, I mean, even if you were like a low-budget filmmaker, you would know like not to do this stuff. Like there was one scene where they were talking to this one woman, and she was in a kitchen talking about something, and she was like cutting up vegetables or whatnot. And the shot of her, there were like pots hanging from the ceiling, and they were like in front of her face. You know what I mean? And I'm like, duh, all you have to do is like move around so you can actually see her face and like hear her talking. But it's like they couldn't even manage that. You know what I mean? Hugo's asking, have you seen In the Company of Wolves? Yeah, that's a good one too. I think I reviewed that one not too long ago, actually. What's the best werewolf movie? American Werewolf in London, or
no,
or The Howling,
the Howling,
the original
first
Howling. Yeah, the other ones were.
The other one's not that good.
Well, it's weird because a long time ago, like Howling 2, Your Sister is a Werewolf, which I fucking love that subtitle, by the way. I remember seeing that a bunch like on cable back in the old days and thinking it was okay, and then I went to watch it recently, like like a year ago or something, and I'm like, wow, this is like unwatchable. It was so fucking bad. Let's see. Let Me In is great. Are you talking about like Let the Right One In? That's a vampire movie though. That's not a werewolf movie. And honestly, that's one where, you know, because Let the Right One In was what was that? Swedish, Norwegian, Danish? What the fuck was it? I can't remember now. But yeah, so there was that, but they did an American version of it, and that was actually one case where the American version was actually pretty fucking decent. It's not as good as the original, but it was still pretty decent. Yeah, and The Company of Wolves was awesome. The one with Oliver Reed. Wait, what? Oh, Wolfen. That was another one that I wanted to see because I saw that a bunch like back in the early 80s. Yeah, it was on
HBO.
It was on HBO all the time, and I remember really, really liking it. Oh, and Ginger Snaps. Yeah, that's another good one.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's good.
That was a good one. I like that one.
It's Canadian, though.
That is Canadian. Well, that doesn't mean that. It's Canadian, though.
It's actually kind of the second best one. They had like cute girls and good story, and the fashion was right for the late 90s. You know what I mean? That's the way we were dressing back then. It's kind of good. That was kind of like the late 90s goth interpretation of werewolves.
It's like funny because I kind of feel like until Ginger Snaps came out, it seemed strange that it never really occurred to anybody to make a werewolf movie that I know of that was tied to girls' menstrual cycles, because it seems like an obvious storyline. And so it just, I mean, I guess it just goes to show, like, for a long time what a sausage fest, like, all that stuff was, because, like, they didn't even think about it.
Tila's asking what Rawhead Rex was. Rawhead Rex was a magical honky. Okay, that's what it was. It was an Irish fucking honky demon.
He's a honky demon.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was supposed to be a medieval, demonic Irish warlord that had somehow been buried underneath a damn fucking stone block, and a bolt of lightning happened. I don't remember exactly how it happened. A bolt of lightning came down, they saw it, and it fell over. It hit the stone, and somebody knocked it over in a field, and it released it.
It was a whole thing.
And it's just a giant demon honky. Just this white dude with a fucking mohawk in leather armor, and he was fucking huge, and his head was fucking like the size of a fucking horse. Looked like a big old Neanderthal with big old bug eyes. And it was like one of the worst monsters of that era.
It's so good looking.
Real good. But the thing is we loved it. We still loved it. It looked fake as fuck. But we were just laughing and going, yeah. It was kind of like I guess it was about 8-9 feet tall. It was wearing black leather armor. And it looked like a big old fucking Neanderthal fucking white dude with a mohawk, with a fucking black mohawk with fucking horse teeth and big old round. You'd have liked it. You'd have liked it. You'd have married it. No one knowing you.
She saw it. She said
you put it right next to that big old husband of yours. They matched.
I have to say, it's a shame because I'm a big fan of Clive Barker's work altogether, like his writing, his art, everything, and it bums me out that they haven't made like a great movie. I mean, Hellraiser's pretty great, but that they haven't made just like a great adaptation of some of his stuff, because it seems like his stuff is so imaginative that you kind of need like a $300 million budget to make this shit look good. If you're gonna do Rawhead Rex, which actually Shudder just added it in their folk horror category, because it is a folk horror movie. Yeah. But
Tila says she would have tamed it. She would have jumped on that bitch and just fucking right.
But the thing about it is, like, you're really kind of like undercutting, the thing. If that monster came lumbering at you, I mean, you're just gonna be like,
yeah.
Wait a minute. Wait, you're gonna eat me? Okay. It's like you would just laugh and laugh.
It was an Irish movie, if I remember correctly, wasn't it? It was an Irish movie. It was not a bad movie. I think Tila says she liked the movie. It's
a good movie. It's just the monster looks stupid.
The monster.
That was really the only thing I didn't like about it.
The monster was not animated. it needed to have an animatronic head. So it had a face. It would have actually been better if it had a speaking role. But they couldn't do that because its head didn't move. Its face didn't move.
Yeah, it was just kind of a guy going like,
yeah,
with a Halloween mask on.
Right. They needed to have 3 or 4 of them for different kinds of shots, so you could string it all together to make Rawhead a character, and it would have been a lot better. But I appreciated the movie. We loved it as kid. Fucking Gramthars was our witness, man. Fucking me, Steve Rouse, and fucking Jason Quinlan watched that shit, and we fucking liked it so much. I think we watched it. We rented it again the week after that. Watched it. We saw that shit at fucking Steve's house. We liked it. We were laughing at it. There was a couple things that really stood out. For some reason, I don't really know why. The fucking stained glass window with that in the church that included fucking Rawhead underneath the ground, I think. Was he underneath the ground with a cross on top of him or something?
Yeah, they're like, get down on the ground, goddamn. We put a cross on it. Just, like,
yeah. Somehow light came through it at a certain time, and didn't it shine a beam kind of like in Raiders of the Lost Ark to tell you where to go through the wall?
I mean, I can't remember.
Or something like that.
A long time since
I remember that stained glass window. That... And that priest going on his knees in front of it. He was a follower of fucking Rawhead, the Catholic priest, Irish Catholic priest. And he helped. He was waiting for Rex to come back from the grave, and he's fucking down on his knees and fucking tears his robe open like that. And he goes, "Baptize me!" And that big old thing was pissing on him. And that blew our minds, man. As teenagers, like, man, he baptized him with fucking demon piss, and he's liking it. Fucking man, there's water sports in the fucking movie.
Yeah,
demonic,
like, wow,
demonic homosexual water sports, and it was a priest. Our minds were fucking blown, man.
Imagine if you had read some of Clive Barker's stuff.
Yeah,
your minds would really be blown.
Yeah,
because man, there was all kind of all kind of perversion.
He was all that perverted shit. It was perfect. They just needed to fix that monster's face.
That's why I kind of think that a lot of movie adaptations of his stuff are not as good. Because, like I said, one, his stuff is so imaginative and his stuff is so perverse that a lot of the stuff, they couldn't really put in a movie. And you can't really cheap out on it either. Yeah. To be honest, I always wanted to see a movie adaptation of that short story that he wrote. What's it called? In the Hills, the Cities? About the 2 cities, and the entire populations of them would all strap themselves together into these big, huge, like, behemoth monsters, and they would fight each other. And just, like, the description of it was so fucking awesome, and that I was just kind of like, oh my god, they should totally make that into a movie one day.
Tila said, hell yeah, Tom, I'll turn that demon into my slave. 1, 2, 3, 4, that's right. Hey, man, that fucking booty can do that to it. Not only man, but man and demon. It can happen to him. Just whipping him.
Granthar says, is it true that witches who practice Santeria put their menstrual fluids in a drink and give it to a man they want to captivate and seduce? I have heard that before. I've read like old, not just Santeria, but anything that's like from old like witchcraft texts and stuff like that. I don't know if anybody actually did that, but it was written down in a lot of like really old books from that time period that was one way to do it. So, they did that in Midsummer as well. Didn't she put she put menstrual blood in that one guy's drink. But
looks like Khan Avasan just showed up. I don't see him. I think people talk. There he is. What's up, Khan?
Thank you, Zach. Hey guys, I'm decompressing from work. What end of the world rants from Tom did I miss? Oh, let's not revisit that.
She gets mad when I tell the truth.
No, I just get mad when you go on, and I'm just trying to like keep things light and fun, and you just kind of go on and on about stuff like everyone's sick of hearing about. That's all.
Okay.
Mike says never seen someone in their 50s so jacked, so I guess they're talking about you.
Yeah.
I just don't think they're talking about me.
Don't think it's natural, bro. HRT and all kinds of other stuff, lots of work and lots of fucking wizardry, hard work. Somebody was I was gonna say something, man. Fucking Khan of Aslan, all right. I've known Khan for fucking years. We've talked about the show, and we talk off the show, and Like we talk about family and fucking geopolitics and culture. But me being a white Hispanic and having a Latin American background, I try to resist it, you know what I mean? But fucking Khan does this thing where he shows me these photographs of these Latin women's asses, and there'd be like in a shot there'd be 3 of them, and he's like, which one? He's trying to get me to fucking choose, and it's like, it's just something I don't understand what it is, but Latin American dudes do this. It's like they check another man's functioning ability to see if he if he is attracted to the same booty as you're attracted to. So then they want you to, it's like appreciating fine art. He wants me to write down a whole analysis of bootyology. Okay.
That's not your field, though. Your field is boobology.
Boobology. But it's I have to go into another specialty, though. The Latin
Did you minor in bootyology?
I'm a minor in bootyology. In Brazil, you automatically, growing up in Brazil, you automatically at least are minoring in bootyology. Because it's a booty-centric world. Central and South America is booty-centric. That's the women. They're the mistresses of booty. They work on booty constantly. Booty science. How big the booty, the shape of the booty. They're working on the booty, injecting things into the booty. It's just, and then, the girls will be flat-chested, but they have a fucking fantastic booty. Although Brazil's fucking, they've discovered implants. They like that too. They try to balance it out to get that hourglass shape. So it is starting to, in recent decades, it is kind of becoming a little bit more like America. But there was a while, in our culture, in the 80s, even into the 90s, where a girl, if she had a booty, then she wasn't considered to be attractive. Crazy. Giallo broke that mold, though.
Yeah.
Giallo educated the white man on booty, at least of my generation. Then they go, oh, that's right. I guess booties do exist. That was the.
Yeah, who'd have thought?
That was the who would have thought? Yeah. Who'd have thought?
I mean, you need a booty. You need something to sit on.
It got to be something, man.
Yeah. I don't want to.
Physiology,
Sure.
Yeah.
Oscar says you guys should do a review of The Lodge. I think we already did, because we saw that in the theater, so I'm pretty sure we did a review of it. I liked it. I don't think Tom liked it. Tila said they will probably remake Rawhead eventually with a better-looking monster. I kind of wish they would, honestly. To be honest, of all the Clive Barker stuff, I kind of wish they would do a movie adaptation of Weave World. But you'd have to have a big budget to do that shit, because that's some crazy ass shit. But I would actually really like to see that. Honestly, I liked some of his more down to earth stuff too, like Cold Heart Canyon. Like, I thought that was really good as well. Mike also said, got the feeling Tom got into goth for the goth girl pussy. Probably.
That was just in the. I got witnesses that went to high school with me right here. It was. It was a lot of factors. One of the factors is me and Gramthars, he ended up being in the police. I ended up having a military career and also doing other weird things in the contractor world. But I did some sideways shit, okay? And anyway, we met each other in the high school drama program, okay? And singing musicals and stuff. So we were constantly around what we call punk rock girls. Not all the punk rock girls were in the drama program, but a lot of them were. And I guess I want to call them our friends were these punk rock girls, and we would hang out in the, in the fucking cafe. With our cafe back then in those days was Denny's, and go to the drive-ins and fucking party and park and shit. And this is when I was in Michigan though. I did part of my high school time in Michigan, part of it in Brazil. But, no. So we grew up with it. And goth was kind of evolving at that time. And then I was old enough to go to clubs, and that's really where it started.
Okay. Thank you, David June. This is going back a little because I'm behind. Tom, can you creep out my male roommate? He's one of my oldest friends. BTK, in bondage, whatever you want to do. Creep this kid out. His name is Logan. Let him think about something. He's got to come up with something. Tila says, yeah, Jenny, many ladies in New Orleans used to add menstrual blood to spaghetti sauce, etc. Yeah, that's okay. That's gross.
Logan, I know you're hanging out with this guy over there. You're over at his place, but I just want you to know that the Lord is with you. Don't be tempted by another man's booty. I know that I'm here, I'm locked up, be here for the rest of my life. I'll never get, on top of the world like I was back when I was with the church and being a good, upstanding citizen. Did you ever see my photo shoots? I had some really good photo shoots.
You were so pretty.
Some people, thought they were kind of kinky, and yeah, they were kinky. And I'd get down to the holes and stuff and dressed up in clothing and special clothes. Take pictures of myself. No, send them to the police. It was cool. You want a photo? I'll send you a photo.
Will you sign it?
Yeah. Send me some money to my account so I can get some stuff from the canteen, and I'll buy a camera and I'll send you some photos.
What do you get from the canteen, Dennis?
Cigarettes.
Boring.
Yeah. Well, I use those to trade those for my host.
Okay, that's all.
I thought you were going to say you stuck them up your urethra.
No.
That seemed like that wasn't really... That's not smoke. Really his scene.
I don't smoke.
That was kind of...
It's not healthy.
Well, you don't need to smoke to stick them up your urethra.
I don't smoke. It's not healthy.
Who's that?
I just use them for money. Yeah, I just use them for money.
Okay. Yeah. Who was that? Shit, man. Who was that? I just totally lot. This is what happens when you get old, kids.
Look, man, they're sending all kinds of money.
I know. It's like I said, I keep getting behind. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, No Need for Me Too. I have a PhD in bootyology.
Yeah, bootyology, yeah. Booty science.
It's booty science. Yeah, there we go. Is menstrual blood spaghetti sauce in the cookbook? No, but you know what? If we do a second one, I'll do that. Don't think that there's probably not in the world somewhere a cookbook that is menstrual blood centric, because I know that there is. I don't know if there's a whole cookbook, but there is one that's like uses like afterbirth and shit. Not afterbirth, but what do you call that thing that the baby's in?
Placenta.
Yeah. The placenta, yeah, there you go. So I can't remember words anymore, you guys. But yeah, so I know that there's some, I don't know if there's a whole cookbook, but I have seen like recipes for like using the placenta, which is pretty gross, but whatever. I'm not eating it, so.
Thorne says Tom needs a YouTube where he discusses military stuff and world events. He clarifies questions I had about what's happening.
Well, see, that's why I thought that you took my laptop so you could do do a show.
Maybe, well, yeah, I might be able to even do it through my thing here once I get unlimited. I gotta upgrade this to like unlimited data, and I'll be able to stream from my thing, because I can put this on that tripod that I have. And I'll take that into my cave with all my equipment.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Right. That's what I thought you were setting that room up for.
All right, look. I've been through a bunch of these fucking wars. My first one was the first Gulf War. And I would fucking be doing stuff up in up on the DMZ near North Korea at fucking Camp Greaves.
All right, I gotta pee.
During the first Gulf War, we were doing the fucking DMZ mission, and I'd go back to the barracks and watch fucking CNN and see what they were telling civilians about what was really happening. It was all fucking hype. All right. The civilian news agencies, they're fucking paid for, especially the American ones. The intel agencies are paying them, and rich people are paying them to sell certain narratives. The more they scare you, the better their ratings are going to be. And it kind of helps the fucking political industry, helping getting people elected, and the information you're getting through them is bullshit. And concepts and ideas that really wouldn't bother a professional soldier would scare the hell out of a fucking civilian, because the concepts are very alien, and they seem alien and scary and immoral. Oh my God, especially today. But when you're out there doing it, it's just bullshit. It's more just work, and they're hyping it for effect and ratings. What's happening now is not scary. It's the normal course of evolution of societies and civilizations. They rise, fall, they're replaced, new ones come, new players come and go. You reap what you sow. If you fucking keep sowing failure and weakness, you reap fucking weakness and failure. You keep sowing strength and fucking and fucking victory, you will reap success.
Oh shit!
You walk over the cat.
No, she ran into my leg.
Right.
I was trying to walk around her, and she just like ran into my shin like a weirdo. Come here, Poke.
There's no order and there's no rules. That's another thing. There's no order, no rules. It happens because they want it that way, or they tell you to think the way they want. And rules are only for you because you're poor. The people that are running the show, they don't have any rules. They do whatever. And then they spin a narrative before or after, depending on what fucking little scam they're gonna pull.
Pookie, come here. I didn't mean to do that. Mm-hmm. I was coming out of the bathroom and she was like running at me like that, and I tried to walk around her, and then she just like went poof and like ran right in my leg. Poor little thing.
Yeah.
Now she's mad. She's like, "Mommy kicked me."
Yeah.
Oh, baby girl.
Con, I'm not allowed to talk about it. I talked about it earlier, so you can watch it after the show.
Not allowed to talk about it. Well, it's just kind of like.
Well, it's her channel, so you know.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It's like I like the Friday night show because it's fun, but it's like, you know what I mean. That kind of shit's not fun. It's not fun to talk about. But yeah, so I probably need another drink, honestly.
I'll make you one. Hold on, I'm just trying to catch up.
Yeah, I got kind of behind. Yeah. Okay. I heard of shark blood in beer. Still no thanks.
No.
Are they still on the thing where they think that sharks never get cancer? That was a long time ago I heard that. So they were putting like shark sups shit in everything.
Cartilage.
Yeah. That's not true though. Sharks absolutely do get cancer. Actually, I think all animals get cancer, or almost all of them do, if they live long enough. So there's that. But yeah, if you guys weren't here on Wednesday, I think I mentioned it on Wednesday, but...
I wanted to show them this before I opened it. I want to show them this. Check this fucking fancy ass shit out. Alright? That is Sam's vodka. Alright? This is the Sam's generic vodka. You know what it says on it? It says French vodka.
So that's new because I don't remember seeing that in
French vodka. Yeah.
So
you got this fancy ass bottle, and there's no the name is French.
Well, you
French
know, that's
vodka.
all you need.
French.
It's fucking fancy.
Yeah.
That's what it means. I don't think we've got that kind before. That must be new. I don't remember ever seeing that there at Sam's. He just got that last time he went to Sam's, and I was like, ooh. Let's see. Oh, yeah, what I was going to say was that if you guys weren't here on Wednesday, I brought up what happened with Pookie is that she got into the closet, like in my dressing room, and was climbing over a box or something like that, and she fell and almost like hung herself on one of my bras. There was like a bra that was like hanging on a hanger, and I guess she fell and she fell into it, and then she couldn't get out. And yeah, so I was like freaking out, and I was like sitting here at my desk, like thankfully, because it was early in the morning, but I heard like choking sounds. I was like, and I was like, what the fuck is that? And then I went in there, and she was in there, and she was like, and she like that with the fucking, it was awful. So she can't go in the closet anymore. And the funny thing is that I kept the closet. Now I closed the closet off, and this morning she was like bound and determined that she wanted to get into that fucking closet. She's like scratching at the door and like looking at me, yelling like, "What the fuck? This is usually open. Why can't I come in here?" And I told her, I was like, "You remember what happened in there, right?" And she's like, "I don't care."
Man, that vodka's good.
Is it?
Yeah, it's real good.
Well, like I said, that was new, right?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, bras are deadly. They are. It didn't even occur to me. I didn't even think I had any bras hanging in there. So I don't know how that fucking happened, but it was just one of those things. And then I started freaking out because I said, shit, man, what if she had done that like when I was asleep and like I didn't hear anything? You know, how fucking horrible that would have been. So yeah, Tila said she was choking on your bra. Yeah, it went like, I guess it was hanging on like a hanger, and she was climbing over a box, or I don't know what the fuck she was doing in there. And she fell, and her neck like fell right into the bra, and she was like that, and she couldn't get out of it. And yeah, and I was just like, luckily I heard her. Yeah, I'm talking about what happened to you, Poke. Yeah, you're okay now though. Yeah, I was like flipping out. So I was just kind of like, now I don't want to like leave her alone. You know what I mean? Who knows what she'll get into. I'm going to have to get childproof things for the bathroom cabinets because she figured out there's nothing in there that can hurt her, I don't think. But because there's not much in there, honestly. I think all that's in that one is kind of like a couple coffee canisters and that's it, maybe. And maybe some like foam things. But I still don't know. I don't want to think about it. So, but she figured out how to open those. So she's kind of like, I think I mentioned on the show Wednesday, I was like, Jackson Galaxy says having a cat is like having a toddler that can reach the ceiling. And oh no, her little thing is empty. And Tom's not in here to fill it up. She's over there sitting by her little dish. And she's like sitting there looking at it like, there's nothing on this. Like, what the fuck? And then she keeps looking over at me. Aw, baby. All right, I gotta go put some treats on it because she's gonna like flip out. Okay, I'm coming. I know. Yeah, I'm coming. Okay, there we go. We're gonna put them on there, all right? Yeah, there we go. You good with that, or you thinking about it? Okay, she's thinking about it. Yeah, she was giving me that look like, why isn't there anything on here right now? Pookie needs a glass cage. Like I know, it's like I was just kind of thinking, you know. And Tila says, is she okay? Yeah, she's okay. I was like flipping out. Maybe she got tired of hearing Tom's rants. I know, it's, you know. I mean, it's weird because I never thought about it. Like, I did think about, when we first moved in this house, the first thing I thought about, weirdly, was that, because, you know, it's 2 stories, and we had never lived anywhere that was 2 stories before. And it has, like, you know, it like at the top of the stairs, there's, like, a little bit of a place where there's just, you know, things you can, like, kind of go in between. And I was thinking, well, I was like, what if she can fit through those slats and, like, fall, like, down on the floor, like, under, it's, you know, and I kind of worried about that. So I do kind of, like, worry about weird shit like that, but I seriously never imagined that she would get partially strangled by a bra. I mean, but then I have heard of cats getting tangled in blinds, like, you know, the strings from blinds.
I gotta check that
and stuff.
Crock pot, and I gotta check see if the
what's in the crock pot?
The carnitas
pot. Oh, well, I don't know.
And then I got the quick pot showing, and I think it's on the front porch.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought I heard something banging earlier. Yeah. Maybe it was somebody knocking on the door. I can't really. It's weird. I can't really hear from up here. I can hear the garage door opening and closing, and I can hear, like, you know, the garage door, like, the door from the house into the garage, like, slamming, but the front door, not so much, because that's, like, further over. But, did you show Tom that video I got of him on loop when the stream crashed? No, I was like, I meant to, and I forgot about it. And then, they're talking about collars. Yeah, I was always, like, real nervous. Like, we have the breakaway collars, but we only put the collars on Pookie when she was outside. Like, if she, at our old house, when she would go outside and, like, hang out in the backyard, because I just didn't want the neighbors being like, oh, hey, free cat. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted somebody to know that she was, she belonged to somebody. But honestly, since we've moved here and she seems to have lost interest in going outside, which I'm really happy about, then we don't put the collar on her anymore. And honestly, even the breakaway ones, it's still just like, I don't know, it just makes me really nervous because I can, like, think of all these horrible scenarios of, you know, her jumping over something that getting caught and then, like, not, and, you know, and so that's what, like, freaked me out so much about seeing her, like, with the bra. And luckily, like I said, I heard her choking, so she was only like that for, you know, probably less than a minute because I found her. But I just don't like to think about what would have happened if that would have happened in the middle of the night and I didn't hear it. You know, that's, ugh, I didn't want to think about it. I was just, like, flipping out, and, like, Tom was like, I'll be coming out of the shower and he's like, what happened? Is she all right? And I was just kind of like, yeah. I was like, poor kid. And Pookie was just like, why are you freaking out, Mama? I'm all right. You know, she was like, she wasn't even upset about it. And I think she didn't understand why I was so upset. I was, like, crying and stuff. She was just like, you're crazy, Mommy. Poor Pookie.
This still has a couple of hours. Look.
Ta-da! Instant Pot.
Instant Pot.
So it is actually an Instant Pot. It's not even like one of the other... I didn't know which one you ordered. Man, that is some strong-ass vodka.
It's good, huh?
It is good, but I was just saying, like, compared to that first glass, that's pretty, like, it's pretty strong.
Don't pull. What you doing?
What's Tom cooking? He's making carnitas in the crock pot.
Oh, look. Instructions.
Oh, Tom, yeah. Tom got the Instant Pot.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to make all kind of stuff with that. That'll be fun.
Oh.
You could cook a whole human head in there.
Oh, man. What? Okay.
I'm sorry, that's just how I do. I'm a horror writer. That's the first thing I think of. I think of everything in terms of how many human heads can I fit in that.
Pots. Okay. All right. That looks interesting. And then you got what do I have here? Something to hold over. Okay. Just gotta read the instructions.
Cheryl asks, how long does a bottle of vodka last in your house?
Depends.
Week and a half, 2 weeks, somewhere around there. Yeah.
But that's hers.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes we'll drink out of the same one.
Yeah, because
I drink tequila.
I mean, he usually drinks tequila,
Yeah.
but now sometimes, but I do not drink tequila. However, sometimes he will drink vodka. So if he's out of tequila, he will drink some of my vodka. However, if I'm out of vodka, I just go without. I'll just drink water because I'm not drinking tequila. So.
All right.
But yeah, we don't because we don't drink every night. We only drink
on the
shows Wednesday and Friday.
Clubs, yeah.
And every now and if we go out, we'll drink.
Yeah.
And then sometimes we'll drink on like Saturday night, but not usually much. We'll just have like one or two. But we don't usually like drink the rest of it.
So that's not generic. That's the real thing, huh?
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm saying I don't even know if it's generic or not, but that's what everybody calls it. I kind of feel like now everybody just calls it generic. It's almost kind of like it's got to a point where it's just like
I think
Xerox
I only paid
machine.
$90 for it. It's wasn't that
Yeah,
much.
that's about standard. But I'm just saying that everybody just calls it Instant Pot, but there's like a lot of other brands of it. Head stew. Yeah, stew and chili. Honestly, we're thinking about like Indian food. That was what we were mainly thinking of because we make a lot of Indian food. Although we haven't made much since we got here. No. Now you did make that Thai curry that was delicious, like last week or something like that. You have made a couple curries since we've been here, but I feel like we used to make Indian food all the time, like every couple of days. Like we always had a big block of paneer in here, and we'd make like fucking. We'd make butter chicken, we'd make saag paneer, which is one of my favorite things. So, it's that. Zach says, I can't tell which is more nasty, tequila, vodka, or honey-flavored whiskey. Well...
This whole house is starting to smell like carnitas.
Yeah, I can smell it.
Yeah.
And that's like way, way, way downstairs.
Yeah, it's way downstairs. I just go out there to...
right for a second. Okay, it's fine.
Okay.
Honestly, the only one I really don't like tequila. I mean, I can stomach it if it's mixed with some shit, like if it's a tequila sunrise and if it's not that strong. I just don't really like the taste of tequila. It's just not my favorite thing. But vodka is good. Depending on what kind it is, I don't really like it straight unless it's flavored. And even then, it depends on what flavor it is. They used to, I can't remember who, I don't know if anybody makes it anymore, but they used to have, a long time ago, there used to be a coffee flavored vodka, or espresso flavored. And
No.
Stop
No.
it. She's
That's
tearing.
vinyl.
She's tearing my new vinyl couch up. Well, I kind of figured that was going to happen. I mean...
Don't. She's going to go and get it. She tries to apologize when I catch her.
I'm
She's
sorry.
like, no. Yeah.
I'm still going to do it,
She knows when
though.
she's in trouble, yeah. She forgets about it and does it again. Same thing with chewing on the ends of my antennas. My little walkie-talkie antennas. She'll try to nibble on it. Hey, she's, I'm sorry. And she can't resist. Her animal
Yeah, she
urges.
doesn't mean it.
Yeah.
It's just she really, really likes to chew on shit, and she forgets.
She forgets, yeah.
Because we have things that she is allowed to chew on. Like I have chew sticks. I have other things that I don't care if she chews on.
Yeah.
Or scratches. And she doesn't know the difference between... I mean, we have like a cat tree that has all kind of scratchy shit on it. She has like a little scratchy throne. Yeah. She has all kind of scratchy things.
Those little mice, I have these little I'm going to show you guys. Where is it? Get here.
She's like, why'd you take it?
These little...
Ilsa sent us those.
These little mice.
Remember right around Halloween, she sent us like a big box of like all these. And look, it came with like a little crinkly Dracula.
She likes these.
Man, she
likes
she came running when she heard that.
If I throw one of these at her, she can grab it with a single hand.
Yeah, she goes,
and then puts it on the ground and attacks it.
Man, if they had a kitty baseball team, she would totally be on it.
She can catch
She's
things.
an outfielder.
Like, watch it. Watch it. Pookie, ready to catch it? Here it comes. Got it. Good. That was 2 paws that time, but sometimes she'll just go boom and catch it.
Then I told you if no one's around to throw.
She's kicking it. She puts it on the ground, kicks it with her back legs, and looks at me. I'm killing it. You're so funny.
Good girl, Pook.
Yeah.
You kill
this cat is a trip. And Jenny, if you guys don't know or new to the show, Jenny puts up little videos of the shit that she's done over the years. She's fucking funny.
I need to start making some new ones. I'm trying to clean out like all the old ones I've done because I have like a million videos of her. I have videos of her when she was little. The one I posted a few days ago was her, because remember at the old place she used to sometimes hide behind my computer monitor and we wouldn't figure out when she was really little and we couldn't figure out where she was for like the longest time, but she would like wiggle under there and be like hee hee hee. You know, she's much bigger now so she can't hide as well. Cheryl
in there. Thorns in the comment section talking about Patron Tequila. I get this from Sam's. That's Sam's Silver. It comes with a cork and everything. And I cannot tell this from Patron Silver. It tastes exactly the same. Patron and Milagro Silver, because those are both similar. But this is $18 for a fifth. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, Sam's is the shit if you're gonna get booze.
Yeah.
We only go to Sam's like maybe once every 2 months or something, especially now because it's much farther. I mean, there is a liquor store right up the street it's next to the Publix. So if we don't feel like, if we're not making a Sam's run, obviously, then we just go to that liquor store. So you're going to pay more. But, what are you going to do? Victor says, does anyone remember Tequiza, the tequila beer from the late 90s? I don't think I ever had it, but I do remember that. Like, I remember maybe, like, the advertising campaign.
Tina says she's got those little mice all over her apartment from her cats. Yes.
Yeah, they're, we have shit all over our house.
She has, like, 7 or 8 of them. She loves
There's, like, a big pile of mice over here. And then in the living room down there's a big pile of mice.
We got a bunch of these.
Oh my God, you guys! If you have cats, no, it's mint.
Oh, mint. That's right. Yeah.
Which is in the same family as cat.
Yeah.
They sell these on Chewy. They probably sell them other places too. I think they're like $2 each or something, or they come like on a little card. And every time they get grubby really quick because Beige loves these and Pookie also loves these. They pick them up in one hand and rub them all over their face. They go.
Yeah, you'll find them on their back with their feet up in the air with that in one hand, and they're like rubbing it on their face. And it's like they're rubbing hard. They're like going. Oh.
They're like, God damn it! God damn it! They're like that. It's like the funniest thing. Both the cats will do that.
Yeah.
So I have to keep getting new ones because they play with them so much that they get like all gross and dirty.
But it looks like when you see them,
but it's mint. It's
almost
not
like
catnip.
It's some kind of an addictive drug or something. They're going. Oh.
Well, like I said, mint and catnip are in the same family, so they react to it like in a similar way. But it's just funny because the way Pookie reacts to things that I'm guessing are pleasurable, but it's almost like she's angry at it.
Yeah.
Because remember what I said with, like, now I can't even, like, brush my hair like a normal person anymore because when she hears that brush come out of the, when she hears the brush come out of my thing over there by the mirror, the little holder, she hears it and she comes running and she jumps up on the sink and she's like, brush Pookie's hair. And I'm just kind of like, can I brush my hair? And she's like, no, first you have to, like, spend an hour brushing Pookie's hair. But she won't let you brush her hair. She wants you to just hold it there so she can aggressively, like, rub her face on it and bite it.
Yeah.
And if you take it away and like try to brush your hair, she's like, "Oh no!" And then she jumps up on your shoulders and is like, and like starts reaching.
We buy these little Sheba meat sticks. It's like a stick. It looks like beef jerky sticks, like a Slim Jim. And she likes the tuna ones, and she'll beg for them at the side of the bed. And she wants 2 at least a day, 2. And you hold it. You can't throw it on the ground. If you throw it on the ground, she'll get mad. She'll run away and shake
She's
her
like,
head.
no, that wasn't what I wanted.
Yeah.
You're screwing up the whole experience.
Yeah, you want to hold it like that.
and she'll sit there and lick on it first, and then start gnawing, and it takes forever. But it's some kind of AMSR experience where she's looking at you and she's gnawing, and I don't know, and then she'll eat it a little by little until it's all gone. And there might be only that much of it left, and you throw it on the ground. She's like, she gets mad.
You suck.
Yeah.
Well, she has to have it's the same thing with the hairbrush.
Yeah.
Because I've tried, because I'm like, look, I don't really have time to stand there for an hour and like hold the brush there. So I've tried to like prop it up somewhere so she can like rub on it. No, it's not the same. You have to hold it.
Right.
And you have to hold it at different angles so she can rub on it. And if you stop, she gets mad and like she's like, burr, burr, burr. Like, why did you stop? And she gets all mad about it. And like I said, if I try to brush my hair, then she like tries to jump on my head and is like, no. So she has a whole little routine of stuff that you have to do.
Tina's talking about Moscow mules and Marina mules. I don't know what that is. Is that like a fucking a black cow? I don't know what kind of drink that is. It's just near the.
I've heard of like a Moscow mule, but I don't remember what's in it.
Well, Moscow's gonna be fucking vodka.
Well, yeah.
And a mule is gonna be some kind of a chocolatey type flavor, maybe something.
That's what I thought. Yeah, I thought it was kind of like that type of thing.
Maybe
Cheryl says I can't do gin or gross ass cinnamon whiskey. Yeah, I don't like anything. I don't like Goldschlager, anything like that. It gives me horrible heartburn.
I can do Goldschlager.
Even though I love cinnamon in general. Like I love cinnamon toast. I love cinnamon in things. But cinnamon flavored liquors or anything like that, I can't do that. It just gives me really bad heartburn.
Yeah, that's
gin I like, but in small. I have to do it in small doses. Did she peep?
Yeah, it made a sound.
She's like, why are you not talking to me right now?
What was that one? Remember they had the butterscotch?
Butterscotch.
Wasn't it butterscotch whiskey? What was that?
We had a honey one.
No. Not that. That's not what I'm talking about. There was some kind of a shot that they were giving us. I think it was butterscotch.
I thought. Well, no one. No, that was completely different. I don't remember what it was. What the fuck was it? Although I will say one of the best shots that we used to have at Ibar was the oatmeal cookie shot.
Right, Tila says a Moscow Mules. It's ginger beer and vodka with lime. Never had it. Ginger beer with vodka.
Okay, that's lime. Not okay. That's
trying to imagine what that would taste like.
I was thinking about it at all. I'm not a huge. It's weird because I'm not a big fan of ginger beer. I like ginger ale. Ginger beer. I had to drink a lot of it when I was in the UK because my ex-husband was super into it.
Yeah.
It's good, but it just as soon as I drink it, I just start sneezing uncontrollably.
Ridiculous.
I know it's ridiculous. I can't help it.
I like it. I'm trying to think of what else is kind of like that. Have you? Well, you probably have Black Velvet, haven't you, T? Which is Guinness Stout and hard cider. It could be apple or pear. Any kind of hard cider. 50-50 mix. That's good. I like that one.
Zach says, I had some friends who talked about having whipped cream flavored vodka once, and I puked in my mouth a little bit. Whipped cream vodka is good. I don't know if I'd drink it on its own because it's a little sweet.
Yes, it's good with orange
But
juice.
It's good with orange juice. It's good like mixed with other things. Because it kind of tastes like a creamsicle. But before this drink, she was drinking Pinnacle coconut vodka with I do like the coconut.
That's nice. With pineapple juice. It's really good. If you like Malibu,
very tropical.
It's like Malibu, but a lot stronger. I could drink a whole bottle of Malibu and it wouldn't even faze me.
I mean,
I love Malibu.
What's the ABV on Malibu? Because honestly,
more than beer, but not much more.
That's what I mean, because I kind of feel like some nights when we go to Ibar, it's like, oh, we're in like a tropical Jimmy Buffett kind of mood, so let's drink some Malibu. And it's like, you can drink that shit all night, and I won't even get a buzz off that.
No, but if you like that experience, then just get whipped cream Pinnacle vodka, pour it over ice, and put fucking pineapple juice. That Mexican or Central American pineapple juice like Goya. Put that in there. Stir it. Oh, it's beautiful. It's real beautiful. It's just kind of has a pina colada flavor, but it's not a colada. It's it's just got ice. It's just a drink.
If you like
a screwdriver,
colada, getting caught in the rain.
Yeah.
Tila says Bailey's is really good in coffee. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And poured over vanilla ice cream. I love Bailey's Irish cream. I know, I do too. I mean, it probably has like a zillion calories, but for a while, I had a bottle that somebody gave me like for Christmas like years ago, and sometimes in the morning, I'm not a drunk, I swear, I would put it in my coffee in the morning.
T says she's never had black velvet, but I guarantee you something, T. Your husband gets black velvet all the time. It's black, it's strong, it's thick.
That's a pretty easy joke, Tom. It's just right there.
No, I was just late. She set herself up for it. No, you'd like black velvet tea. It's a 50-50 mix, Guinness Extra Stout, and any kind of cider, but usually something like Angry Orchard hard cider, or I've had it with the pear cider.
I think the first time we had it, it was with pear cider, which was good. But
no, that wasn't the first time I had it.
Well, no, I mean the first time we had it at that place.
At that one place, right? Yeah, but Angry Orchard will work, and it's just a 50-50 mix, and you don't have no special way to mix it. Just pour the stout in first, and then just pour the cider in afterwards, and it's 2 drinks for the price of one. Put it in a tall glass, and it's cool. It's very thick and rich, and the cider takes that bitterness out of the stout, and it's like drinking apple bread or something. I don't know. There's no way to fucking describe it.
It is kind of like apple bread.
Liquid apple bread.
Yeah, it is kind of smooth. Well, the only thing, and I think I brought this up before, but some places, because like I said, liquor license, especially in downtown Orlando, is very expensive. So you'll have like a lot of these little bars or like little music venues, and they have beer and wine, but they don't have a liquor license, so they can't have, they have like those fake malt liquor things, but so a lot of them will do like craft beers and stuff. So if we go somewhere like that, like the Falcon, then you have to get beer because they don't have vodka or anything. Yeah. Now beer, I'm not a connoisseur. I'm not, but those are good. But the only thing about those, there's 2 things. One thing, they make me pee like a racehorse. Yeah. 2, they make me want to fall asleep. I guess it's like all the carbs. It doesn't even like get me drunk necessarily. Well, it does, but it takes a lot. Yeah. I'll usually like get really sleepy before I'll get like drunk, to the point where I'm just kind of like, I'm just gonna take a nap right here on the fucking right here on the fucking bar. It just makes me really, really, really sleepy.
T's in there talking about how corny I am. Of course I'm corny, man. Fucking that shit was coming to
I mean, he's like the embodiment of like the dad joke. Well,
I can do sometimes. Well, not all the time.
Not so much dad joke. You're kind of like the dirty dad joke.
Yeah, if I see an opening for one, I'll do it. But no, that's.
And I've known you for such a long time.
Yeah, if I see one,
that I'm like a couple steps ahead. Like if I see. Because I'm just sitting there going, wait for it. There it is. Okay. Yeah. Even if I say something. Yeah. Sometimes I say stuff like on purpose just to like them because I know that because I'm like,
we're gonna go to Mannequins tonight.
He's gonna walk right into that.
We're gonna go to Mannequins tonight.
Well, it's only 6:30.
I know that. I'm gonna dance tonight.
Are you really?
I'll post that shit up on the fucking.
We should talk about.
We never really post on the shit that we do.
Monday night.
Yeah.
We went to Memento Mori.
Yeah, supposedly the last one.
Well, it's the last one at iBar/Barbarella because iBar/Barbarella is moving. Yeah. So Memento. So we did the last one. Holy crap! Everybody came out. Yeah. Everybody.
Where the fuck were you people?
I saw people I hadn't seen in fucking 6 years. Yeah. I'm like, where the fuck have you been? So we did that. It was a fucking blast. We had so much fun that they turned all the lights on at the end of the night. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I didn't realize that it was like fucking 3:30 in the morning. Yeah. I did not realize. And honestly, it was awesome, but it was also like bittersweet because, I mean, that's such a great venue. We'll get another one. Yeah. But, I mean, that place is kind of like, iBar's been there. I know it's called Barbarella now. And it used to be called Barbarella, but it's confusing. It's been there for, 37 years? Yeah. So man, I practically, I feel like I grew up in that place. Yeah. So the fact that it's still going to be open, but they're moving it someplace else. So, I don't know. It's like an end of an era, so it was kind of that. Did I cry? A little bit. But other people did too. It wasn't just me. So,
It's not going anywhere. It'll just be in a different place.
I know, but there are so many memories tied up in that building, though.
Yeah. It was starting to get stale even kind of before COVID. COVID came, it hung on, but the rest of the nights didn't do well enough. And then even though Florida was probably one of the states least affected by things, it still had a societal effect, quite a bit. Because some people just said, fuck it, and they just stayed home. They got real depressed. And I'm not talking about mostly mainstream people. Goths are already, we're inured to that.
We're already depressed.
We're already like hardened. We're like, yeah, it's the end of the world. Well, shit, it's always been the end of the world.
I was like, I've been depressed since I was like...
You're right. It's always been the end.
Since I was a fetus.
That's actually a stereotype.
I know.
We're actually not
that's
depressed.
what I'm playing into. I'm playing into.
But
it is true to an extent, though, because I do, I have the same kind of, I have a depressive, introverted type of personality type.
Right.
But I'm aware that I'm like that, so,
What happened in downtown is that the mainstream clubs that were brought in the big money fucking folded. So the bar owners got desperate, and they started allowing fucking like a bunch of fucking rap nights and stuff. Well, Tio tell you, man, the fucking hood started pouring in there. What'd they do? They started shooting each other up. I mean, there were shootings fucking happening, which drove fucking the rest of the shit out. It'll stabilize eventually, but it'll take a while.
I mean, so much stuff closed in downtown. Like, closed or, people just weren't bothering to go downtown. Yeah. And you have to admit, too, that iBar/Barbarella, they had different nights, but their main thing, and always their main thing, has been new wave alternative stuff like from the 80s, like retro stuff. They did 90s stuff, too. They did recent indie, they were all over the place. But their core audience was always kind of retro. And that's, so their clientele was getting a little bit older. So a lot of their clientele were like, well, when shit was going on downtown and it's like, oh, the crime's getting worse and they didn't really want to go down there. It's too much trouble. So even before COVID, and that didn't help. Yeah. People were not going out as much. Right. And honestly, we didn't even start doing that. We started going out less because it was farther for us to drive. Yeah. And particularly when we moved here, it takes us 45 minutes to drive there. It used to be about 25 minutes. We were 18 minutes from downtown, where we were in Sanford. Now it's more like 20, or maybe 20, maybe closer to 30 miles. So it actually takes like 45 minutes for us to get downtown Orlando now.
The thing is, it's easy 45 minutes. Because,
it is.
Because the route is so comfortable for us because we grew up there basically the past 10 years. So it's just like, when you're driving 45 minutes of well-worn territory that you know real well, it's not the same as fucking a new place. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Because everything is just so familiar the whole way. It seems to go a lot faster.
So, I mean, even Mannequins is a little bit of a haul, but it's about 20 minutes. That's about 20 minutes from us.
But what happened is that the money from downtown started to suburbanize, which pissed some people off because where we are here in Sanford now, okay,
we're in Eustis now. We were in Sanford.
No, where Mannequins is in Sanford now. Fucking, you ask like Chantel fucking pissed off because the white people are fucking gentrifying Sanford.
It's a honky invasion.
Yeah, it's a honky invasion going on, Sure. But fucking, and they were like, well, wait a minute, hold on. We were in Chantel's and fucking a bunch of mixed couples and fucking, and my boy fucking was there fucking with his white wife.
Yeah, Will.
Yeah, Will. Yeah, and he's like, "Women, hold on. White people bring money." And we're talking about
his girlfriend is white, so
yeah. And then like fucking Mannequins. That's my friend Big Tom, and he's black, and that's his club, and he's one of the few black dudes that understands Morrissey. And he's a goth black dude. And
said we met him and his wife, Miriam, or Gina as we call her. Right. She's actually she's Puerto Rican.
She's Puerto Rican. Puerto Ricans are Americans, It's just she's Puerto Rican.
No, I'm just saying, she's Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican, yeah.
And we met them at iBar. God, how many years ago?
Oh man, long time.
Holy fucking shit. Yeah, they'd been going there forever. We used to see them like every week.
15 years.
And they were I mean, they're like the nicest people, seriously. And they would go and they were so into like the 80s shit, man. They're like our age.
Yeah.
And they had grown kids, and then they brought their kids out, and there's it's a whole weird thing, I guess. Yeah. Maybe it happens in other cities too, but all the people that grew up in Orlando going to Visage and the Edge and all that kind of stuff, like now that we're all like old farts and we have kids, well, I don't, but we know a lot of people that have kids that are like in their 20s. Yeah. And as soon as their kids were 18, like the parents would take them, they're like, please take us to Ibar, take us to, the Edge or whatever. And like, so you would take them, and it's just like, that's so weird to think about. Well, like I said, we were at Memento Monday night, and Dimitri and Jen brought their daughter who had just turned 18, and she was so excited she wanted to go to her first Memento.
Oh, and by the way,
even though it was the last one.
That hookup did happen.
Did it?
He's like, I've been trying to call her. I'm trying to call her. I can't.
I really hope this does not go badly. I don't. We talked about this a little bit on Wednesday.
He said though, I don't want to ruin it, man. She's kind of young. You know what I mean?
I told Dimitri.
I said, that is you realize that is a Gothic princess. Okay, she is a political figure inside the scene. He's like, yeah, I know. I got to take this. I can't fuck around with that because her dad. You know what I mean? And like,
everybody knows Dimitri. He's a DJ. He runs the fucking.
So he's got to be on his good behavior, And he's like, well, maybe she's cool though. I'll just get to know her, And I said, dude, you're 21 years old. She's 18. That's a good age difference because she'll respect your opinion on things, and you have a little bit of a head start.
And let's be fair, girls at that age are
about the same.
More
they're about the same.
They tend to be more mature than dudes.
Yeah. So the difference isn't as strong as he thinks it is. And I told him, I said, look, this is what you do. Just get to know her. Okay. And I said, in a couple of years, maybe a year or so, you might feel a little bit. She's gonna. Might feel a little bit differently because that goes by real quickly, man. By the time and I said, to develop a relationship, man, you want to be friends first. And he's like, yeah. That's me putting the hook in his mouth because I know that's not how it really go at 21, but. He's worried that he will fuck it up.
But honestly, though,
he's worried that he will fuck it up.
The thing about Nick, I think the reason that I like him, even though he's young enough to be our kid,
Nick is the local version of Sid Vicious if he wasn't on drugs.
And wasn't
a moron.
A moron.
He's real smart. But he looks like kind of like
not like Sid Vicious.
He's tall, skinny, cute, kind of.
He looks like Sid Vicious a little bit, but
punk
he's
rock kind of goth guy. He's got a good head on his shoulder. And he works. Got a job. Got a car. At 21,
he's pretty much got his shit together. I mean, he had his shit together like way more than I did at 21. Yeah. So that's I'll give him that. Right. Like I said, he has like a steady 9-to-5 job. He works in a print shop. He seems to know like he's got a good head on his shoulders. So I was kind of worried about, and I did.
Wait, T, wait a minute, isn't this the guy with did the deed with the older lady? Yes, it is. It is. But the thing is that this is the goth scene.
No one's that worried about it.
They're not worried about it. Okay. It's kind of like she was handling her business as a goth queen. Okay. She's initiating the young men into the world. All right. It was a wild night. And yes, I think that the boy that we're talking about in particular probably might need to sow some oats for a little bit longer. But like I said, in a year or two, he's going to feel a little bit different. You know what I mean? Because he'll be older and she'll be a little bit older. And I'm going to show you all a picture who it is I'm talking about.
But I mean, what I was saying, so I talked to Dimitri about it because, like I said, we were all kind of emotional because it was the last one. Like I said, we're going to do Memento. This night went on for 8 years. That's got to be some kind of record, right?
Yeah.
For goth nights in this area. Yeah. So 8 years. And, so everyone was kind of sad about it, but Dimitri's been messaging me, like, all day today, and he's like, I'm going to Soundbar, I'm going to these other places, and I'm going to go and take pictures, and he's like, because I've had a bunch of other offers to do the night elsewhere, so we're going to see how that works out.
That's really the only picture he's got up right now.
That's in front of their house.
Yeah.
Because we picked them up there lots of times.
Right.
But yeah, so I told him, I was like, he's like, this is a really weird situation because I said, we've known Dimitri and Jen's daughter since she was
12.
Yeah.
That shit flew by, didn't
She
it?
came over to our house, and I gave her a bunch of boots that I wasn't wearing, which is the same shoe size as me. And she was kind of like into goth and stuff because her parents are as well. And so I was kind of like, man, I'm not wearing these, have them. And she was like all super cool about it. And then she kind of went through a phase where she was like, fuck that, I don't want to do that anymore. Because, you know, she was rebelling against the parents. But now that she's 18, she's gone way back into the goth stuff. And she really wanted to go to the club. So Monday night was the first night that she came out. And so Tom, who is always trying to hook people up with one another, he's like the matchmaker of the goth scene.
Yeah.
You kind of are.
Yeah.
You kind of are.
Yeah.
He's always kind of like, if you hear some people are single or somebody broke up, he's always like, he's calculating, who can I hook that person up with? Yeah, he's like that. So he's like, so Nick came and he was like, oh my God, we're gonna make this happen. Yeah. So I was just kind of like, oh my God, please don't fuck this up, because like Dimitri and Jen are like some of our closest friends, right? And I was just kind of like, man, I don't want to hook their daughter up with somebody. I mean, you know, Nick is awesome, but if that goes bad, I'm just kind of like, I don't want this blowing up in our face. This is why I don't matchmake, because I don't like shit blowing up in my face. I'm just like, you find your own boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever the hell. I'm not getting involved. I don't get involved unless somebody asks me directly, and even then I try to avoid it. Because it's like, I don't know, like my whole life I kind of feel like sometimes people ask your opinion about something or ask your advice about something so that they can blame you if something goes wrong. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to stay out of that situation as much as possible. So I did say that to Dimitri. I said, please, if this does not go well, please don't blame me. I was just like, but I think they're cute and I think they seem to like each other. So we'll see how that goes.
Trying to find a recent picture of Cat.
DJ Maniac says, Tom tried to set me up with someone too, and I'm all the way in New York City. I'm telling you, man, he's kind of like, okay, you know those fucking like Hallmark or the Lifetime romance movies that come out around Christmas, where the meddling mom is always trying to like set you up with somebody because you can't be single. Tom is that person. Tom is that person. He is always trying to like fucking engineer some shit. You come to Tom and be like, man, my boyfriend just left me or whatever. He'll be like, okay, we're going to find you a new boyfriend like right now.
The only picture I have that kind of is close to how she looks now, because she only has a little bit. Here's Dimitri, and there's his little daughter. That's her. That's who we're talking about. But she's gothed out as hell right now. She's got fucking little dimple piercings, and her little septum is done, and she's...
Yeah, she has a lot of facial piercings.
She has a lot of
more facial piercings than that picture.
Yeah, she doesn't have any
now, Jen has an older daughter.
Yeah.
From a previous marriage, who is 21, I want to say. She's a few years older. But Kat is their daughter. And I thought it was so funny because I was just kind of like, man, it's so weird. The scene is like so multi-generational. Because I kind of feel like when I was younger, man, someone went down the wrong way.
Yeah, they're not really the kind, I mean, the ones that we hang out with, they're not the kind where they're like giving their kids drugs at 12. It's not like it was back in the fucking punk rock scene or anything. They treat them as...
I don't know anybody that does that.
No, they're all tend to be pretty strict. They treat them as kids until they're 18. Then they can go to the club and then just cut them loose. Pretty much. That's what I've been
Which
seeing.
I kind of feel like that's probably what you should do.
Yeah.
I mean... The thing, I guess the reason, it's not weird, it's awesome, actually, but the reason I think it's weird is that because when I turned 18, I don't know, it would have been weird. I mean, my parents weren't really into a scene when I was 18. Yeah. I kind of feel like it would be weird to hang out with your parents at that age, but in the goth scene, it's not weird, and I guess it's like not, I don't know. So it's almost like we have like 3 generations going on, and nobody thinks it's weird at all.
No.
Because Angel brings her daughter... and a lot of it who's grown, and obviously, and a lot of people bring their grown kids, and it's like a big event. Like, hey, my kid's 18 or my kid's 21, and it's like they've been like bugging me to like come here for like all these years, and finally I can bring them. So now we can hang out and all drink together. Yeah. And I'm like, that's weird, but it's also kind of awesome, and that's one of the things that I like the most about this scene, I have to say. But yeah, so I'm just kind of hoping. Man, I'm hoping this works out because I don't want everybody to get mad at us because we like we fix some people up.
I'm not worried about it. Part of it is not to worry about it. It's gonna be all right.
I know, but you know.
Yeah, it's gonna be all right.
Tom could host a new version of that old show, Love Connection.
Yeah,
I remember that show. That was Chuck Woolery, was it not? Now that wasn't the one. No, what's the one I'm thinking of where they ask you all those really embarrassing questions. That wasn't Love Connection. What happened on Love Connection? I remember watching that show, but I don't remember what happened on it. I think I'm confusing it with Newlywed Game. Remember Newlywed Game?
Tina says, "Oh Lord, Tom, don't show faces. I know what you're talking about, babe. I'll show faces if I want to."
Hopefully nobody's like watching me like, "Hey, why are you showing my face on there? I didn't tell you to do that."
And everybody's over 18. I can show faces.
Cheryl says you can go to the club at 18 there. Yeah, you can't drink.
You can't drink, though.
Right. But you can go... Some clubs. Some clubs are 21 and up. It depends on the individual club. Yeah. iBar/Barbarella. Yes, you can go there at 18, but you can't drink until you're 21.
Right. And unless you're well connected.
Don't say that. You're going to get them in trouble.
It's just... Right.
I mean, you know, because
nothing is in the open air.
Honestly, the liquor licenses in downtown Orlando are so fucking expensive. Last I heard, they were $250,000. They might be more than that now. So people are very, very protective of their liquor licenses, and so they're pretty strict about underage people. They will let 18 and up in, but you're not allowed to drink. And if you get caught drinking, then it's going to be a big thing. You know what I mean? Adriana says, how has the club scene changed from the 80s, 90s, early 2000s until now? Let's see. I didn't go to a lot of clubs in the 80s and 90s, mostly because for most of the 80s I was kind of young, and then in the 90s I was old enough, but I didn't have a car, or I only had a car like intermittently whenever I could talk somebody into driving me someplace. Because I grew up in Daytona, and we didn't really have any clubs there, except for country bars. There were a couple tiny little hole-in-the-wall kind of punk or alternative places, but it wasn't like a nightclub situation. The big nightclub in Daytona, other than the country bar, which was called, what was it called? The Rockin' Ranch. Ugh. I never went there, but you know what I mean. That was the one everybody went to. But there was one, and I think it might still be there. I don't know. I haven't been in a long time. But it was down on the beach side called 701 South. And that was like your quintessential basic bitch meat market type situation. So I went there one time, but I went there because they had, I think one time in the whole time I fucking lived in Daytona, they had like a new wave / post-punk night. I don't know why. I don't know why they did that. But... so they did do that one time. So I went there then, and that was fun. It's a cool venue, but normally that was just kind of like, that was where all the spring breaker type people went and shit. So goth people would never fucking go there. They usually like drove to Orlando or Tampa. So after a while, in the late 90s, early 2000s, I started driving to Tampa to go to the castle. And sometimes, if I didn't feel like driving to Tampa to go to the castle, I would drive to Orlando for shows, or, you know, sometimes you go to iBar, you'd go, if you were going to a show, you go to Visage or The Edge or something like that, which were the main places. I don't know, it hasn't changed that much, to be honest with you. I do kind of feel like, when I first started going to the castle in, whenever the hell it was, 1999, 2000, I can't even remember now. There was kind of a thing where, I don't know, we were talking about this the other day. The goth scene, it almost kind of seemed like it went in two directions, because you had like the goth scene that went more like in the goth industrial direction, and that kind of went more into a fucking, just a dance music techno kind of direction. And I kind of feel like a lot of that was going on in the late 90s, early 2000s, and I was not about it. So when I first started going to the castle, like, the building itself is super cool, and it was like a cool place to hang out. But a lot of the music they played, I was just kind of like, what the fuck is this shit? It just sounds like the same song for 4 hours. I'm just like, I'm not into it. But it was still like a cool place to go. So honestly, if I had my choice, and when I ended up moving to Orlando, I started going to iBar, which is, you know, like I said, now Barbarella, because that was like 80s new wave, 80s alternative, and that was pretty much what they focused on. And it's like sometimes they'd, you know, throw you a curveball like the Cramps or something. And I was just kind of like, all right, this is more along the lines, because like I said, I don't mind some of the goth industrial stuff, but after a while it gets kind of like, oh, this all sounds the same. And late 90s, early 2000s, you also had the additional problem of all the Manson kids who were, you know, the kids that hung out at the mall and would like go to Hot Topic with the gigantic pants, and they got old enough to go to clubs, and so their musical taste, which was kind of terrible, was kind of starting to take over. And for some time, I was just kind of like, I don't even know if this is like even the scene for me. They kind of look like me, but they're not really like representing what I'm all about. So I kind of went into, for a while, I went into the more kind of like the death rock revival, which happened like in the early to mid 2000s. So I went to a few things in like New York and stuff like that, because they had like all these death rock bands that played. And I was more into that, like more of a throwback to like punk rock, like old shit. And I liked that more than the kind of, but honestly, it hasn't changed a great deal. The club nights we go to now are more of like a mixture, because now a lot of the shit that I didn't like in...
No. Hey.
What are you doing?
Stop tearing up the...
She's just going to do it.
No. Don't do it.
She's going to do it. A lot of the stuff that I didn't love from like the late 90s, early 2000s is now old. So, you know, there's a generation that have grown up with that music. So now that's retro. So most of the nights we go to, like at like if you go to Mannequins, for example, like on a Friday night, like we might later, you're gonna hear everything.
Oh, we're going.
Yeah, you're gonna hear everything from late 70s punk to 2000s electro. It's just whatever. That's kind of like alternative, or there's sort of like goth adjacent or industrial adjacent. And I guess that's kind of like the best way to do it. So there's like a lot of variety. Like I said, you know, for 1 second, like he'll play Nick Cave and then he'll play fucking Ladytron. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's kind of all over the place. And honestly, I kind of like that better. I like it better when it's just, you never know what you're going to hear next. Like shit, last time we went, we got there early. He played The Fall, and then he played, he was playing like some old shit. He played like The Fall, he played like Blondie, he played like some old stuff, and then he played, what the fuck was that? He plays like a kind of a lot of 90s stuff, but he plays like a lot of new shit too. But that's Paul Vane, and he used to, he's our age, or shit, older. He's older than us.
Yeah.
He used to DJ at Visage.
Not much, though.
He's kind of like legendary.
He's not much older
in Orlando, because he used to DJ
He's only
at
a couple
Visage.
of years older than me, I think.
Mm.
Okay, so it's almost 7 now. When do we have to start getting ready to go? Because I have to eat, too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all right. I kind of already know what I'm going to wear. It's not going to be too...
All right.
I can just, like, fucking...
So the question was, how much time do we have?
I don't know.
Okay.
Half an hour? An hour?
Half an hour? Okay.
We're all right.
All right.
Yeah, Cheryl said we called them Mansonites. Yeah, we did too sometimes.
Yeah, so did we. That's all gone.
Yeah, nobody does that anymore.
All got incorporated.
I mean, nowadays...
Those people are all old now. They're all hanging out with us.
Well, that's what's funny, is that nowadays you go to Mannequins, and they'll play Marilyn Manson. And back in the old days, like, all the old goths would be like, oh, fuck me. They'd be like, roll their eyes. But now everybody's just like,
dance
whatever. Whatever. We're tired of fighting it. Or, like I said, some of like the people are young enough to remember.
Tina said, I just saw a video of David Bowie's Man Who Sold the World. Loved it. Added to my playlist. Yeah, Man Who Sold the World was a weird song because he's going up the stairs and down the stairs. He saw himself. He's talking to himself. He's in another universe. I'm not sure exactly who it is he's talking about. For a minute, I thought he might have been talking about Adolf Hitler. The Man Who Sold the World. There were millions of people. Of all the millions here, I thought you died a long time ago.
Yeah, but that's pretty vague. I mean,
yeah, it's kind of vague. I thought because he mentioned Joseph Goebbels on on a couple of other albums. I didn't know if he was talking about Hitler or because a lot of people don't know it, but Bowie was kind of fascinated for a while about the Third Reich, about how that could have happened. What were those dudes like?
I think a lot of people are fascinated by that because, like, what the fuck were they thinking?
You're like, what were they thinking? What were they like? Because information was harder to find back then, in the 70s. But no, that's a good song though. Did you see? Did you get a chance to listen to the Sisters of Mercy album and this Joy Division and Bananarama and all that I recommended? Because you said you added that to your playlist.
See, I love all that kind of shit.
Well done, Polk.
I mean, still.
Bananarama's one that people go, Tom listens to Bananarama?
I like Bananarama.
Because that was the question. What do you listen to that people didn't think that you listened to? It's a Bananarama. I liked Bananarama. That was like one of the original girl bands.
Well, another thing, too. You like musicals.
Yeah, I like musicals also. Yeah.
Not all of them. I don't like all of them either. But good ones. Like, you really like Grease?
Love Grease.
I do, too.
Love it.
So maybe
My Fair Lady, I liked it.
Yeah, so people might be surprised by that.
Yeah.
You know, I like a lot of musicals too. Although I tend to like weird ones like Hedwig and the Angry Inch and Rocky Horror Picture Show.
I really liked Phantom of the Paradise, Repo Genetic Opera.
Yeah,
was
also
good
great. Also good.
Yeah.
Repo was good. I keep putting that in the Patreon poll like to review it, and it never wins.
They probably don't know what you're talking about.
But I mean, we should do it anyway, probably, because I think it's on Tubi.
T saw Repo, and I'm not sure she said she liked it, but not that much. It's what's funny is that you look at Repo and you would think that was almost futuristic or contemporary, but it's old now. It's a good it's a good goth industrial opera.
Yeah, which I'm surprised there's not more of those.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, that seems to be the only one. And to be honest, that song from it, what's it called? Zydrate Anatomy.
They played it last.
They played it last at Monday.
Yeah.
He plays that almost every month.
Yeah, Zydrate Anatomy.
Well, I don't know if I want to say that, but he plays it pretty often. So that's like
I also liked Xanadu. I really liked Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Heart Club.
I love that movie.
That was a
it's
good movie.
terrible, but I love it.
Cheesy, tacky.
God, it's so good,
you have
though.
the fucking Bee Gees.
And I fucking love that shit. I saw it so many fucking times. Yeah. So many fucking times.
T says she listen to Bananarama, listen to Cruel Summer. Yeah. Did you like Cruel Summer? That was a good one. Another good one that they did was Robert De Niro's Waiting. I liked that one too. Robert De Niro's waiting. Talking Italian. Yeah, that was good. It was a good one.
Our shit's going like red again, but hopefully... No. Well, no, it did. It has been like kind of flipping back and forth. So hopefully... It disconnected, but then it reconnected.
Right. They did a bunch of cool... it was just a pop band. But what was cool about them is that they were not made by a record industry. They started off... They were just made by themselves. They were just three kind of like punk rock girls. It was red.
I know. That's a... Come on.
Just, I don't know if it's fucking playing or not. I'm going to let it go green.
Yeah, don't talk when it's red.
Right,
because,
it's green.
Yeah. Nope. Nope. I told him it's like,
man,
when it goes red, don't talk.
Yeah.
Because it's probably not going to... It usually even cuts off before you realize it. Because I've had that happen before. Don't... Bitch, come on. God damn, that fucking thing. Come on. Come on. I'm trying to, like, magic power it into fucking, you know. Let's see. Where were we? Oh, somebody's talking about Head, the Monkeys movie. Yeah, I've seen that. Good. Return of Living Dead should be turned into a Broadway play. Honestly, I kind of feel like there was a kind of a trend for a while for turning, like, horror movies into musicals, which, you know, I'm all about that. Lame, we can't listen to music on Fridays. I mean, we could. I'd have to, like, you know, I'd get complaints about it. So, there's that. Yeah. Where was I? Okay, Phantom of the Paradise. Yeah, we're back.
Okay, because the router seems to be fine.
Yeah, we're back.
Okay.
Must have just had some kind of...
Yeah, I don't know what it was.
I don't know.
It was... Router seemed to be fine. I didn't want to press the reset button because then there's like a whole minute for...
Because then I have to, like,
right,
fucking boot the whole
right.
thing, and it's just kind of like, Jesus Christ, and I'm
But,
not having it. Having it, not having it.
What was Bananarama is that it was an all-girl band. It sounded very poppy, but... And it was, but it was made by them. The fuck? It's red again.
Yeah. Oh, come on. It's making me mad.
Yeah, Tom leaves and it starts working.
Maybe that's what it is. One of my favorite things.
I never could get what I wanted to say out. Fucking. All right, good.
One of my even the algorithm is just like, stop talking, Tom.
Yeah, stop talking about Bananarama. Right, yeah.
Stop talking about Bananarama.
Yeah.
It's all that it's Illuminati doesn't like Bananarama.
They know my voice. They go, he preaches the truth. We have to shut his ass down.
Okay. Holy lag, Batman. Yeah, we're back.
Yeah, I'm checking shit. I don't know what the problem is.
It's fine.
Bananarama sounded poppy as fuck. It was, but they were self-made. There was no record company behind them.
One of the best
Even
things...
the little dance moves that they did, they were just coming up with that shit themselves.
One of the best things about the 80s, in my opinion, and I think why a lot of people, even really young people, still resonate with that nowadays. Like I said, you have there's a whole subculture on TikTok, man, that's like fucking... Not even... It's millennials kids, man, that are all like into 80s life. One of my favorite things about the 80s is that we had this, like, what on the surface seemed to be, like, throwaway pop music. But if you listen to, like, the lyrics and stuff, they were always about something, like, really fucked up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, for example, 99 Red Balloons. Sounds like a cool pop song. It's about nuclear war. Enola Gay by OMD. That's about, like, dropping the atomic bomb. Is what that's about. Yeah. So I really, really like that juxtaposition. And it's almost kind of like early trolling, where it's like, we're going to make this happy-ass pop song that all these people are going to dance to because they're not listening to the words. But the words are they were almost all about, like, fucking nuclear war and all shit like that. And I really, really liked that. I don't know why, but even now that's still...
Rama or Rama banana?
Rebecca says... Oh, I want to address this. Oh wait, it goes red. It was me talking that time, so it must have been my fault. Nobody likes us to talk about Bananarama.
Yeah.
Okay. Bananarama run the world.
It's
secretly,
porn, yeah.
maybe.
It's porn, yeah.
Maybe that's what it is.
Maybe they think it's fucking porn.
Maybe Bananarama secretly runs the world, and we're not allowed to talk about it. They're like lizard people. That's a new thing that I'm going to start.
Lizard people?
No, that Bananarama are lizard people, and that they run the world. Rebecca says, I lost interest in Duran Duran after Arcadia and the Power Station. Notorious didn't really feel joy for me, but loved the Wedding album. You know what?
Notorious was great.
I had the same experience at the time, though. Yeah. I will say that, I mean, and still nowadays, my favorite Duran Duran albums are probably the first two. Duran Duran and Rio. Seven of the Ragged Tiger is pretty good, too. But yeah, after they split up and they started doing... I loved the Arcadia album. Power Station one, I bought it, but I was just kind of like, meh. It just was very standard to, like, hard rock, and I was just kind of like, yeah, okay, whatever. But, I liked Arcadia because it was a lot more prog rock, a lot more creative, and I was kind of more into that. Notorious, I bought it.
Loved it.
Now, interestingly, I didn't love it at the time. I did, love a couple songs on it, but the first time I heard it, I was kind of like... I don't know. It's like, I don't know if I'm feeling it. And to be honest, I bought, no, I did buy one after that. I bought, what was the one that came out after that? Was it, wasn't it Big Thing? I bought that.
Yeah.
And I liked one song off that.
Big Thing wasn't that good.
And then I was just kind of like, okay, well, that's enough of that. So I didn't buy any more of their stuff. But then, like, after a long time went on, and I went back and listened to Notorious, I liked it better in hindsight. I didn't like it at the time, because I bought it on vinyl when it came out in 87. And I was just kind of, and how old was I? 15? 15. And I was just kind of like, I liked it, but not as much. But I like it more in hindsight. That's why I'm saying, like, if you liked something a long time ago, listen to it now and see, like, how it hits you, because it might hit you differently. Notorious is a much better album in hindsight for me than it was at the time. I liked it at the time, but not as much as their earlier stuff.
Notorious in the context of Tom, that was me, senior year of high school in São Paulo, Brazil, with a fucking bunch of money, fucking having long marathon fucking sex with Brazilian girls and nightclubs. Because in Brazil, a fucking 17-year-old guy could get into a nightclub. They didn't have drinking ages and shit. It was fucking wild.
Well, most places
I fucking
they do.
loved it.
I think even nowadays in Europe, they're just kind of like, hey, you look old enough.
Yeah, you know. Well, there was
as long as you weren't like obviously a child.
Yeah,
then they were just kind of like whatever.
There wasn't really a drinking age. That's an American concept, and okay. Now for our European listeners, there was a reason for the American drinking age law, because America was a big country, and we had kids driving huge cars made in the 1950s at the age of like 13, 14. They're driving these huge solid fucking steel cars, and they were wrecking them.
Not a great idea.
They were getting drunk, they were wrecking them, they were dying. So it's not
and killing other people.
Killing other people.
So you know.
So it wasn't quite the same situation. It wasn't Puritan. A European, like, oh, it might interpret that as Puritanism. No, it's more about safety. Because, okay, I learned to drive at 13. I got a driver's permit by 15 or 16 and was driving on the road. If you were to give me that car and booze together, it'd have been dangerous. I was doing that, but and Gramthars, who's a cop right now, he was doing the same thing. But we kept it very much in check. We were walking on fucking eggshells. You didn't want to lose that driver's permit. Okay, DUIs were serious even back when we were kids. A DUI is driving under influence. That was serious even when we were kids. You would lose your driver's license. If you didn't drive in America, you were never going to get a girlfriend. Never.
Yeah, you're a loser.
You were a loser.
I mean, depending where you grew up. But if you grew up in California or Florida or anywhere you actually kind of need a car to get anywhere.
Almost everywhere.
If you live in like a big city like New York, people don't drive there and it's not a big deal because you can get around.
That don't know how to drive, never driven a car by the time they're
You don't need to.
You don't need it.
It's too much trouble up there.
But most of the United States is not like that.
Down here, I lived without a car for a long time. I would not recommend it. I would rather live without a car, but you have to have a car in Florida.
Europeans cannot.
And California.
Europeans cannot grab the scope of space. The distance is involved. You could drive an hour in the United States and not see anything in certain places. There are certain places you could drive 4 hours and not see anything.
Well, in Texas, you can drive like fucking 11 hours and
probably
not see anything.
Okay. Big, vast, open spaces.
Of nothing.
Right. And just, there are Europeans you could ask, like fucking my friend Rob Halford from Judas Priest. He's my friend now. I don't know how that happened, but Leather Daddy's
Rob's like, wait, who are
together.
you?
Like, we're friends, and Leather Daddy's sticking together. But no, he goes to fucking Arizona and sees, it was Arizona, New Mexico, I think it was Arizona. He sees the American desert, the Southwest, and goes, this is it. And he's from England, but he's like, this is it. This is what I've been looking for. And he lives there to this day. And he's written whole songs about being on motorcycles riding through the fucking desert. And until you've been through the Mojave Desert or anything, which I grew up going through the Mojave Desert, my dad driving and shit,
It's like something out of the movies, out of like Hills Have Eyes. You can drive for hours through the desert on a paved road and maybe pass a car or two.
Well, that's why they make so many horror movies about that. Because you break down out there, you're kind of fucked.
But it's a fucking experience to be out there on a motorcycle. It's like driving across the surface of Mars. There is a romanticism to it. There's a beauty to the desert. And I got Middle Eastern listeners like Saad and Saudi Arabia and everything. You know, when I went to Egypt, in the Sinai Peninsula, in the Sinai Desert, it's that same feeling of peace. The desert is a spiritual, very beautiful spiritual place. It's rough, hot, but it's very dry, and there's something kind of comforting about it. But it's deadly. A couple days without fucking water, and you're a dead man. It's like 105 degrees.
If you've ever seen I Shouldn't Be Alive, a lot of those are people that were like, hey, I was just driving... I was doing a road trip out to see my family in California from wherever the hell they were. We were driving across the desert. We thought everything would be fine.
Yeah.
You break down. You don't have enough water. Couple days later, you're dead, and the vultures are eating your ass. Yeah. It's not funny, but, that's what happens.
One of the weirdest experiences I ever had was as a young guy leaving the damn patrol vehicle. I had permission. I said, I asked fucking Sergeant Smith, who's a friend of mine. We used to listen to The Cure and shit together. He's a Goth fucking sergeant. My fucking sergeant in the fucking 101st Airborne was a fucking squad leader at the time. He was a Goth. And I said, I want to go back to that Bedouin village. I'm going to go look at those camels. He's like, all right. It was about 2 miles away. The vehicle had to stay in one position, but I walked the 2 miles back to the Bedouin village that we had passed. I had a fucking M203 grenade launcher and all my equipment. I had grenades and fucking live ammo and everything. And went back to go see those camels. And those camels fucking freaked out when they fucking saw me. And the Bedouins came out. They're like, what are you doing? I said, no, I've never seen a camel. And some of them spoke English, the Bedouins.
The camels are like, we never saw a white dude either. What the hood? What the?
And I hung out for about 4 or 5 hours with Egyptian Bedouins. And had a good time. Fucking drinking karkadeh, which is like a little tea that they make. And trading cigarettes and playing cards. And guy came, he wanted me to pull his teeth. And I said, man, I'm not a dentist. I can't pull your teeth, This is fucking crazy.
He's just asking any random dude, are you a dentist?
Yeah.
I really need these teeth pulled out. Can someone please do this for me?
And I said, I'm looking at this, just a rotten.
Are you either a dentist or a sadist? Somebody.
I said, I can't pull teeth, And he said, no, you can do it. He wanted me to get the tools from the truck to pull his teeth. I said, I don't know how to pull teeth.
Can you imagine how much pain you'd have to be in to just be asking random motherfuckers to pull your teeth out with power tools?
I had a first aid kit. Shit. I had a first aid kit in my fucking butt pack. That sounds sexual, but back in the days, it was just a little pack.
Oh, you know all about butt
pack. Packing people's butts. I had Motrin in there. You guys from the 90s in the Army know all about Motrin.
Wait, y'all had periods and you had to take Motrin?
No, they would give us Motrin. If you ever they would give you, every fucking U.S. Army soldier back in the 90s carried around all kinds of Motrin.
Which is funny because I know Motrin is just like a generic painkiller, but I always associate Motrin with periods, even though I have to say, I don't have periods anymore, but when I did, Motrin did not do shit for any of that stuff.
It really didn't do shit for us either. We weren't great believers of Motrin.
Pamprin worked, kind of. Aspirin worked, but you had to take a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you couldn't walk.
Well, I had a whole bunch of Motrin, so I gave that dude probably about 50 tablets of fucking Motrin.
Now, don't take these all at once.
Yeah, because they would just give us that shit. Yeah. Dude, fucking
even though they don't do much of anything.
Yeah, and fucking... So then later on, I go back to the vehicle and then fucking pull the rest of the shift there at the vehicle position, which is some weird shit. We're out doing desert patrol. The AWACS planes watching us. And then we drive back to go back to the main highway. We have to pass the Bedouin village, and the whole village wave and thank you.
Thanks for the Motrin.
Yeah. I'm like, that Motrin doesn't work. As far as I know.
It might work for them. I don't know. It might
work for them, but that was all I had to give him,
And honestly, it might work for other people because I have heard about it, but everybody's different.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say that I took Motrin a few times for, like I said, female problems, and it did not do jack.
Yeah.
Didn't do jack. Yeah. Pamper worked better, but like I said, I always took like double the dose.
Yeah.
So, and even then, it was still. it didn't fix it. It was just, well, at least I can walk upright now.
Tila's in there laughing about you and your periods and motions and shit.
I know. Yeah. Well, I don't have any shame. Oh, somebody asked, Adriana says, Visage, Fade to Gray is awesome.
Yeah, good song.
Sophisticated, dark, and weird. Steve Strange is quite underrated. Okay, check this out.
She made mom.
Check this out. Yeah. Right here. This book right here. I have this book. And it's all about Steve Strange. He wrote it about. My ex-husband's mom, my ex-mother-in-law, was friends with Steve Strange's mom. Because Steve Strange's mom lived in Wales, where I used to live. So I actually met Steve Strange's mom. Isn't that weird? It's at some point. Steve Strange he died, right? I mean, he's dead now. I thought he died. Yeah. And so I met his mom just completely randomly, and I was just kind of like, this is the weirdest shit ever. I was just like, yeah, I'm a big fan of your son. This is like so weird. It was very weird. And it was just like this little old lady in this normal house in Wales. And I was like, your son is like famous worldwide. That's like so bizarre. But yeah, it was one of the weirdest things ever. Yeah, somebody's talking about like cars. Honestly, that's another thing I'm not super into. I do not like to, okay, I'm not going to say I don't like to drive. Well, I don't like to drive, but it's not so much the act of driving. It's not so much driving I don't like. I don't like all the other people on the fucking road that are in the way. I don't like, and especially in Orlando, because in Orlando, and I know everybody says this, in Orlando, everybody that lives here, very few of whom are actually from here originally, because everybody moves here from all over the country and from all over the world because the weather's nice. So they bring to the situation, and it's not always harmonious. Let's say that. So every time we have to drive on I-4, I kind of like, Tom's absolutely not driving because it's too stressful. But even when he's driving, I'm just sitting there in the passenger seat like this. I'm just like, I don't even want to look, because inevitably there will be some jackholes that are like racing each other, and they're like, let's see how close we can get to all these other cars. And it's just, oh my God, I can't even stand it. So there's that. So to be honest, I didn't learn to drive until I was in my mid-20s, probably. Oh my God, what are you talking about?
Yeah, what you talking about?
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
She's talking. But I mean, if I could live without having to have a car, my dream, I think it disconnected.
Did it? No, we don't. It's back green.
No, it's not.
Okay.
It was yellow.
It's almost time. It's almost time to end the show anyway. 7:23.
No, I'm just saying that, that's you. I mean, you don't mind driving. I don't really like driving. I never really did. To me, it just seems like a big hassle. It's an expense that I wish I didn't have to pay.
Yeah.
So, I kind of like everything to be within walking distance. I like that.
Tina's in there fucking commenting about Pokey. She must have saw me kissing Pokey. Pokey does all kinds of cutie shit. Those carnitas downstairs are fucking smelling great, which tells me that's almost ready to go. And it is coming up on 7:30, which means that it may be time to start to shut this down.
Maybe,
because hate to tell you, I mean, you can.
I know I'm having a good time, but
you can, if you want to finish the show yourself, you can. But I think I need to get down there and start working on.
Well, no, that's okay, because we talked about we're probably gonna go to Mannequins tonight.
Yeah, we got to start getting ready.
Even though, so
right.
At least I got a head start in the drinking.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't want to drink much more. I don't want to drink much. Look at what I got left, and I don't want to drink much more because I have to drive there.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that far, but
I got time to fucking kind of get some of that out of my system.
Well, it doesn't really open until like 9 or 10. And actually, nobody even gets there until 10 or 11. 10, so don't worry too much about it.
I just want decent parking, and it's a while from here. I got to make something to eat.
That's true.
Okay.
All right. So, all right, we've been on for a little while. So yeah, we'll go out a little bit later. And
we'll see you guys Wednesday. Or actually, no, Monday, right?
Sunday.
Sunday, okay.
Sunday, we're going to talk about Gator.
Yeah, we're going to do Gator?
Yeah, we'll do Gator on Sunday.
Okay. I don't know if y'all have saw White Lightning.
Which we reviewed.
We reviewed it
a few days ago.
Right. Great movie. It's free.
We saw the sequel-ish.
They're playing White Lightning and the sequel Gator on
Amazon
YouTube.
Prime. Or no, it's YouTube.
It's YouTube, both of them, free with commercials. They're playing them without commercials for free on Amazon. But they're Burt Reynolds classics, Southern movies made by Southerners for Southerners. Very accurate, fair portrayals of the South of the 70s.
Plus,
I know because I was there as a little kid.
I had totally forgotten that Gator had Lauren Hutton in there.
Yeah, Gator.
Hubba.
Yeah, and
with
it's
her
funny
little gap teeth.
Towards the end of it, fucking Gator becomes like a romantic figure with self-sacrifice, baby. You go on your way to your greatness.
I was into that.
Yeah. It's just
I liked that.
And they were
very ahead of its time.
They were kind of the redneck version of a Rudy Ray Moore film, but the budgets were bigger. Burt Reynolds directed Gator, the second one. And I think he did a pretty good job. And I can see why he was the figure he was now. Because when the first Burt Reynolds movies I saw as a kid was Smokey and the Bandit. And I was like, who's this dude? I liked him, but I didn't know who he was.
And he'd been around for a while.
I didn't realize he had been around for a long time, and he'd been doing action roles. And he was a cool actor. He was a cool dude, and he was from Georgia and just a Southern star from back in the old days. They were not Hollywood movies. They were Southern movies, independent films. And they were good. They were good. It stand the test of time. They were good. He was kind of like... Gator, which his name was Gator McCluskey. McCluskey. Gator McCluskey was kind of like the redneck James Bond. Yeah. Coming out of prison to go do something for the feds. That was that kind of shit. He's living in a damn shack fishing,
As one does.
Although he didn't live in the shack, they were just fishing.
I think that was just the fishing.
That was the fishing camp.
And
he didn't live in it.
All right.
And then he's got to deal with fucking organized crime, and he don't like it.
Again,
working for the gangsters,
God, I hate
really
having
like
to
that.
fucking.
But it's just good movies.
I hate having to deal with organized crime while I'm trying to just hang out in my fishing shack.
He was kind of like the original fucking from Walking Dead. What was Daryl? Kind of like the original Daryl from The Walking Dead. He had more lines. Tila would love that shit.
He had more lines.
He had more lines than Daryl had. Tila would love that shit.
Daryl's the strong and silent type.
Yeah.
All right, so it's Friday night. We've been going for 2.5 hours, which I guess is a long enough time. We're having a good time, but we're thinking about going to Mannequins this evening, and we got to have some fucking tacos or something before we go, so we don't get into bigger trouble. Norman Reedus.
Yeah, okay. Norman Reedus.
Yeah.
See White Lightning. It's for free on YouTube, and then Gator, the sequel.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about Gator on.
We talk about Gator. Fucking. Was it Sunday?
Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's our matinee show on Sunday.
Yeah. Or we talked about White Lightning.
We did.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, it's going red, so I kind of feel like... Are you going to be all right? Seriously?
Yeah, we'll be fine.
Okay. All right. So, thanks, everybody, for dropping by. Thanks, everybody, for Super Chats. Thanks for hanging out with us on this Friday night. Everybody have a good start to your weekend.